Right, there we go. I think we're... Oh, there's the camera. So many screens and things going on at the moment. I have not got a clue what that F is going on. And it's already dark because we've had a super chat. Thank you to Ugly Bob. And he says, porn bot activate. Activate porn bot. We ain't got any porn bots yet. But no doubt we will have some shenanigans during the stream, as is the way of the world in YouTube these days. Good evening everyone, it's Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. It is Saturday the 30th of July 2020. I just thought actually, is the World Cup thing on tonight? Possibly. It might be. I've got a feeling it might be. Where's my phone? Cats, stop fighting.
Oh, Maisie, it's his birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, it's Flame's birthday tomorrow, so you can't be upset with him. Come on, let's have a look what Google says. Google will tell me.
He wrecked her figure.
Tap for latest. No, apparently it isn't today. Or at least, I thought it would, but it's not. England versus Germany tomorrow. Oh, that's right, that's fine. That makes total sense. Close down millions of apps. Anyway, there we go. So, good evening. It's Saturday evening. Hopefully you're all doing well. Hopefully you're doing better than me. Because, I'll be honest with you, I've had a shit of a week. It's been absolutely horrendous. And Maisie's tail is flickering there in the camera. Why would you sit there, right in front of the camera, where no one can actually see you, but I'm being distracted by your gingerness? Euro Cup, not the World Cup, says Stuart Cleary. Thank you, I stand corrected. Yes,
right there, or?
Of course it is a European Championships, or European, or Euros I think is what they call them these days, because I'm down with the U. Anyway, let's move on from that. So yes, good luck to the ladies tomorrow. Although I'm not entirely sure what the definition of a lady is. I should be a politician. Anyway, moving on. So this week, I'm not even sure how many days it's been now. I've been working on this PC, so some of you may recognise this actually. This was one we built probably about 2 years ago, I think it might have been. It was for one of my colleagues I work with, and they wanted it for their stepson, so it was kind of like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. So I'm pretty sure this is an Ion's KZ24 case, I think. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, but I do actually, now seeing it again, I do actually quite like it. I'm tempted to get myself another one. It's got a really nice mesh airflow front, the fans in there for anyone who's wondering, and also the CPU cooler. They came courtesy of Sahara Gaming. So these are the Sahara Gaming Pirate Ring, I believe they're called, which is possibly not the best of names, and no doubt Bob is chuckling away to himself already because I've said ring. Predictable. Also, the cooler is the Iced Gem, which is a 120mm cooler, but flat, so horizontal. You can probably see it, I'm not sure if you can anyway, but you'll probably be seeing a little bit more of this in the coming days and weeks because, well, where shall I start? Let's start off with the story of what the heck actually happened. So, they've had this PC for a little while. It had an RX 580, whether it's 4GB or 8GB, I'm not entirely sure. And they bought themselves a Oculus VR kit. Now, with the 580, obviously VR is a little bit of a stretch at the best of times, so they wanted an upgrade. Now, obviously, this was during the time of the thing that was going around for the last couple of years, which we should not name, otherwise we get demonetized, etc. But anyway, yeah, that was all going around, so things were getting a little bit scarce. And at the time I said, look, wait it out, things are getting super expensive, everybody wants graphics cards at the moment, no doubt it will peter out and it'll be fine, we'll get you upgraded at some point later. Some point later being approximately nearly 3 years later, and yeah, this is kind of where we're at. So they went out and bought themselves an RTX 3060, which was actually a particularly good price. I'm not entirely sure where it was, it might have been Scan or CCL or something along those lines, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it was about £330, I believe. Sadly, the Founders Edition 3060 Ti's weren't available and they're still not back in stock, so that would have been preferable, but in the current state of the market, that's absolutely fine. So they've put the graphics card in. Also upgrades, they've put a new Wi-Fi card in there, so they've got a Intel AX210 Wi-Fi card in there, which I think is one of the ones like we reviewed a little while back, the I don't know what the name of it was now. I think I've still got it there. So it begins with Z, or Z, or X. something Chinesey. Anyway, moving on. So they put the card in. Since putting the graphics card in, they've been having a few issues. Now, whether the issues were prior to that, I haven't ascertained quite yet, but it does seem that the problems have kind of started more so since the graphics card has been in there. Whether that's because they've been using it more or installing more, I couldn't tell you, but potentially that could be the case. Now, something which has been happening is the original drives which are in here. So originally, when I set this up, there were 2 drives, of which I have just here. So I'll grab those. Oh, where's the other one? So the primary boot drive was the TC Sunbow. That is a 240 gig drive. So that's great for your operating system and a few other files, etc. The bulk of the stuff, the games, etc. were on this. So this is a Seagate Barracuda 1 terabyte drive. So this was put in as a solid alternative because at the time when we built this PC, 1 terabyte drives were kind of quite expensive, and we were actually trying to do this at a budget at the time. So there's certain things which, although would have been nice, were a little bit out of reach. So we went with the mechanical drive. It seemed to make sense at the time. So coming more back up to date, so recently they put the new graphics card in there, been using it more, and they were getting some crashing and some errors and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, it might just be one of those things, just see what happens. Then I get the phone call saying I can't get the PC to boot up. It's blue screening saying it can't find Windows. So immediately it's like, oh God, what's going on here? So we had a telephone conversation, went through all the usual support things. They are relatively local anyway, but I prefer if I can to get a problem fixed over the phone so the PC doesn't have to be dismantled, etc, etc. So I went through the usual thing, go into the BIOS, are the drives visible, etc, etc. Can you physically feel or hear the disk spin up, which is often one of those things. Even though this isn't a boot drive, sometimes if a SATA device on the controller fails, it takes out the other drives with it. That is an inherent thing with some SATA controllers. So I went through it all. Basically, they couldn't get it still to boot, so they brought it round. I had a quick look, went into the BIOS, and it seemed that the BIOS settings had changed slightly, whether that was intentional or just one of those things. So changed the BIOS back, and I actually managed to get it to boot up once. Looked in there, had a very, very quick look around. Yeah, everything seems to be okay, but I'm not entirely sure, so leave it with me. I'll see what I can do. I'll give it a once over and see what the deal is. So put it to one side, turn it back on again, wouldn't boot again. So long story short, this happened for about 10 to 12 cycles of trying to start up. Every now and then it would start up a little bit, then it would crash, or it would start and say that loads of files are missing, etc. And it's like, oh, this isn't looking good. So potentially we're looking at drive failure. So managed to actually get in and check onto there's City. Managed to check on with Crystal Disk and looked at it, and it came up with a cautionary mark saying that basically the drive has started to reallocate sectors, which basically means imminent failure. Get your data off there as quick as possible. So with that knowledge and knowing what the system is, etc., went back to them and said, look, I think realistically the drive is toast. I might be able to get some data off it. What I would probably like to do is to replace the 1 terabyte drive because it is getting quite full. It was at 90% of capacity of the drive, which is kind of never good. Less so for SSDs, but for mechanical drives, it's okay-ish, but not ideal. So my suggestion was we'll get some crucial drives, get a BX 2 terabyte, stick that in there, copy the data if we can off of this onto the 2 terabyte drive, given a little bit more breathing room, and obviously this drive's toast anyway. I did say at the same time it's probably going to be a good idea if we look at the 240 gig drive, because this one was actually pretty full as well. We were like 60 gigs left, so about 2/3 full, 3/4 up, kind of. Yeah, it's actually three quarters, exactly 3/4. So that means that kind of you're eating into the over provisioning. Trim's not going to work particularly well because it's rewriting to the same clusters all the time. This drive was down to about 95% wear, so still in good nick really, but it is a smaller drive. They're not overly expensive now, so I said, right, that's the best thing to do. Let's double the size on both drives. Let's swap that 248 for a 480. Let's swap out the 1 terabyte for a 2 terabyte, and we'll go all solid state. So just in case for some reason the owner of the PC is a young man, let's say. So I know what it was like as a young man. There's hormones raging, there's games to be played, etc. Kath's doing something unspeakable behind me, so I'm not even going to mention that. But there is the occasional rage quit that could potentially happen, and sometimes the feet can be flying or the odd punch to the case, which clearly for a spaghetti bolognese drive or a spinning mechanical disc drive is never a good idea. They don't like the odd punch or whatever. So anyway, with that out of the way, so that was a decision that was made. So then I thought, right, okay, we've got the drives. We've got the boxes here. The drives are actually in the machine. You can probably just about make out the labels on them. So BX 500s, a little bit cheaper than the MXs. I would have preferred MXs, but again, like everything, it's down to a budget. It's not as if there's an everlasting tap of money to be turned on, and these drives are absolutely fine. So yeah, 480 and a 2 terabyte drive. Stuck those in. Sorry, no, I retract. Before putting those in, first thing to do, obviously, see if we can clone the drive. So put in our Seagate drive, our 1 terabyte, into my disk cloning station from Oracle. Put in the 2 terabyte drive, and some of you have probably seen already on our feed and from the short I did that I started doing it. And I was waiting for about, I'm sure it was an hour at least, before anything was looking like it was happening. So waiting for that 25% light to come on the drive cloning thing so you can see if it is actually doing something. I think I got into about 3 hours in, possibly 4, and there was no sign of any data being moved. Now clearly sometimes drives are a little bit slow anyway, but we should have got to about 25% after about 4 hours, which we didn't. So because obviously sometimes the drive wasn't recognised in Windows, wasn't recognised in BIOS, I'm thinking I've got some choices here. I can either do the hard route and just keep on disconnecting, reconnecting, press the clone button and hope and pray, fingers crossed, that magically it's going to come to life and start transferring data. Or I can do the opposite way, dig out the laptop, plug in the cloning station into my laptop, put the 2 drives in so they're actually visible in Windows first of all, and then I can just grab folders and copy paste, copy paste. So that was the option that I took next. So 4 or 5 hours in, done that, and then started doing the transfer using my laptop. So basically grabbed everything on the D drive and copy paste onto the other drive. And it seemed to be working quite well. Although every now and then you'd see the drive activity go right up to like 100 megabytes per second internal speed and then drop down to basically 0. And it would almost look like a blade edge. So it's like jagged edge, up, down, and it was doing that all the time. It wasn't always exactly the same, but it was kind of spaced out, so sometimes it would do a few more files. Other times it would be just sat there for about 5-10 minutes at 0%. So I'm thinking there's clearly something not entirely right with this drive. So I thought I'll press pause, restarted just to see if it's something where the buffer was getting full up on the drives, which can happen. Buffering is a thing. Sometimes the buffer can get overloaded and it just gets swamped. So paused the transfer, let it start again, and again it went straight back up. So I was like, okay, maybe it's a buffering issue, something along those lines. Then the drive just stopped altogether. And I got to the point where it actually froze the system so hard that even though they're USB drives, which are connected on like a virtual SCSI, they froze up the cloning machine, the USBs, Windows Explorer, everything on the laptop. And I thought, oh Christ, that's quite impressive. I actually managed to freeze a laptop via USB. That is pretty decent. So obviously do the usual thing, turn it all off, plug it back in, at which point then both of the drives, the new drive and the old drive, were showing up as being a raw data partition. So this is possibly the worst case scenario. So when it gets to a raw data partition, it essentially means that most drives you've got a logical block at the beginning and the end of the drive. And with the kind of the way that drives are set up, the format, etc., if the one on the start of the drive goes, you can get data suites and software, things like Partition Magic, etc., and they will look at the last one at the end of the drive and they'll kind of make out what is going on, and they can sometimes recover it from a raw situation. Generally, it doesn't work. If a drive shows up as raw, it's effectively toast. So yeah, that is kind of where I was at. So then I spent another possibly 3 or 4 hours, various programs, AIMU, Minitool, Partition Magic, even Recover from Piriform, various others, even DOS commands, test drive, etc. Going in, seeing if I can recover anything, seeing if I can get it to recreate the NTFS file structure, so I can actually at least just drag some files off. So anything would be great. Because I thought at some point we had a decent amount of files, but as soon as it turned both drives to raw, that's it, you're basically screwed. So I couldn't recover either drive in the end, long story short. So I ended up formatting the new 2 terabyte drive, completely wiped that, started again, give it a new partition, NTFS, blah, 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 blah. So that was basically ready. We were back to square one effectively, although we were somewhat behind the gate because at this point now, this Seagate drive is basically clicking and whirring and doing sod all. So we've gone to a point where we actually could see some of the data and potentially could transfer some, but it did appear that the actual drive sectors were reallocating themselves almost as fast as I could get data off. And I'm guessing the data would have been corrupted. That is my opinion. So with that said, make the phone call, said, look, I'm kind of a day in on this already at least. I think the safest thing to do is I'm going to have to start again, because download the games. Hopefully I can clone, excuse me, hopefully I can clone the original TC Sunbow drive, put that onto the new BX480, happy days, go in, and then I'll try and install the games onto the D drive and we'll kind of work from there. So this is where it got really, really weird, and I've not experienced this before. And that is that the C drive was ridiculously corrupted. Like, ridiculously corrupted. So if you clicked on anything which was regarding the Microsoft Store, not even happening. The Microsoft Store itself, it'll pop up, close, pop up, close. Tried all the usual things, C++ installer, the RC redistributed tools, 64-bit and x86, not having it. So, right, no, this ain't happening. So, got out the old Windows 10 disk, or USB stick, stuck in the back, done a repair install over the top of the original install. And even that would not do it. So it's still getting things like data errors, there was bits missing here, there and everywhere. The operating system was really, really toast. I've never seen an operating system quite as bad. And it's leading me to think, well, the drive itself, yeah, it's pretty full, but that shouldn't give data corruption. There's no reason why you should corrupt a C drive quite so easily. The D drive had a physical failure. The reallocation of sectors means there is either bad sectors or a part of the disk which has become non-functional. That's absolutely fine. That makes sense. It's a physical thing. But to have 2 drives do exactly the same thing at the same time did lead me to think potentially there's something else going on here. So I did a fresh install of Windows 10 on another drive, and it was taking ages. Like, properly taking ages. And I'm thinking, I said to Kath, like, there's something not right about this. I know the system, I built it. It's a relatively nippy system. It's going really slow. So I went into the BIOS and I changed the PCI Express settings from Auto to Gen 3 for the graphics card. So my theory is, pretty much everything in your system runs on the PCI Express bus to some extent, or at least, even if it's on a separate part of the chipset, it has to go through the PCI Express bus to get back to the processor and to go wherever it's doing. So my thoughts are that because that graphics card is a PCI Express Gen 4 card, my theory is that it's trying to signal to the chipset and the CPU in Gen 4 speeds, which obviously they're degrading because the chipset was never designed for that. Would that then make the processor get poor data or poor quality of data? And would that affect the actual storage itself? I don't know. That is a question I want to put out to you guys out there. Do you think, logically, if the PCI Express is signaling in a degraded fashion, i.e. trying to do Gen 4 when it's Gen 3, do you think that would then in turn have a knock-on effect? Now it could just be something, one of those things that because the data was corrupted on here and the system was crashing, that it's corrupted parts of the original installation. That is totally possible, and I'm not ruling that out in any way, shape or form. But whether or not it's placebo or not, it does actually seem that the system was actually a little bit quicker after I set the PCI Express for the graphics card, specifically to Gen 3 and Gen 3 only. So, with that said, another fresh installation of Windows 10, which I've not long finished. Drivers installing, the things like Steam, going through passwords, all that kind of stuff. So at the moment where we are is we've got 2 fresh drives, fresh Windows install, fresh everything almost, put the user accounts back on, etc. to some extent. And that's kind of where we are at the moment. So I knew the stream was coming up, so it's kind of like, right, I can't duck out of a stream just because the PC isn't working or isn't doing what it's meant to. So I figured what I'll do, I'm still going to have to do things on this. I've got downloads to do, installs to do, updates, blah, 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 blah. I might as well do that whilst I'm actually doing a stream. And then you can see actually what I've been going through. And to explain why there's not been much activity for me on Discord the last couple of days, because I've literally been pulling hair out, which I don't have. So it's kind of like clasping skin and stretching your head.
Like one of those stress things.
Yeah, I've turned my head into an actual stress ball. So anyway, I do need to go into Steam in a minute, and because the games I've got on the D drive, I need to actually make sure that the files are actually validated. So let me go into Among Us, and we'll go to local files, and we'll do verify integrity. That's a new thing, I've just made it up. Integrity of files. So I'll let that carry on. All 144 files successfully validated. So that is something you may have to do. If you have 2 drives and you then dump files into one, you have like a Steam apps folder or something, then it's something you might have to look at. So we've got BeamNG as well. Steam Cloud is out of date, so let's do local files and verify integrity. I've got more integrity. There's integrity everywhere. Right, I'm going to put these to one side again because I don't want to damage these. Potentially, they might want to do a data recovery on this. I don't think it's going to be possible because I think the drive is completely foobar, but yeah, it is a bit of a weird one. I will be giving them back the old TC Sunby drive. I might put that into some sort of USB caddy or something just so they can plug it in and see if there's any data on there that they actually need. I don't think there is. I have copied the user account profile from this drive into the D drive just as a spare, so if they need to, they can have a look to see if it's all okay. So with that said, I'm going to put this to one side. I'm going to drink something because my throat is drying up, and I'm going to take a look at the chat, see what the frickin' hell's going on, and talk to some of you crazy loons. Right, which bit of that particular thing am I going to do first? I have got actual indigestion, or my gallbladder's going to explode. Yeah, that's the gallbladder on the right, isn't it? Indigestion's on the left, gallbladder's on the right. Oh. Right, moving on.
Too many coffees.
Too many coffees up my arsehole. Right, let's grab my cup of tea. I have got the most bizarre setup here at the moment. Let's actually, let me see if I can move the camera and you can see. So you can see the usual setup is there. So there is my streaming PC and the monitor. So ooh, infinity hands. My streaming PC, the PC we're fixing or attempting to fix. We've got a monitor which is on the wall, which is normally the one I monitor the streams and the video recordings. And then I've got this bad boy. So I've got the chat and also the other YouTubey stuff. And so yeah, you can see how that is. That was a monitor we got from Welly Bob. It was Welly Bob, wasn't it? I have to think now. Yes, it was. Welly Bob kindly donated a widescreen monitor. Although sadly, just as I realised we were starting, I was thinking that's going to be perfect. I can put that there so I can actually see what the hell is going on. And yeah, then I realised that the monitor will only do 1080p 60 Hertz, or is it even 30 Hertz with an HDMI cable. It won't do it any other way. Am I still in the shot? Vaguely? I'll do. So anyway, let's have a look and see what some of you are saying. And thanks, not Welly Bob, Ugly Bob, the other Bob. Too many Bobs. £10 super chat, thank you very much, Squire. It says too many bum coffees. Arse integrity failing. It's all falling out. It's not, I'm joking. Right, let's go up to the top here and see who of you is actually in the chat. Did I clear that? No, I didn't. Let's just clear that. There we go. It's actually quite nice. I've got the chat literally there, so it's not too far away from where the camera is, so I could almost be looking at the camera whilst reading if I had slightly cock eyes. So Ugly Bob's with us, O'Reilly is with us, says good luck Mike, thank you O'Reilly. Rick H says good evening to all you wonderful mubs around the world, bless you sir. And there is a super chat from, who's that from? O'Reilly, thank you O'Reilly. Says £10 to get a relaxing trip to a spa massage, you need it after the PC from hell. This is not over yet, it's far from over, but thank you O'Reilly, appreciate that. Who else we got? So Rick H. Stuart Clary says hi mubsters around the world. William Bodie says moin back to all of you. William Bodie, you'll be pleased to notice I am using the actual Logitech mouse, the M190. It is on the desk, although the mouse mat isn't. Something I had to give. Although saying that, with the PC on, I can't get the mouse mount on at the same time. Please forgive me. Who else we got? So Stuart Clary said that, I think. If not, hello Stuart. Old Man Withers, hi Mike, Kath and Mubs, looking forward to feet up and a beer and stream. You and me both. I can have a stream, but unfortunately I'm actually doing it, not enjoying it. Although, you may not be enjoying it. Who knows? What are you drinking? Let us know in the chat what you're drinking tonight. I'm going to have myself a Foster's in a minute, which is about 4 months out of date, and will probably make me sick as a dog. But let's do it anyway. Billy K's with us, says hey guys, and it says, whose PC has he broken? Well, you know the story, man. If you've listened from the beginning, you'll know what the story is.
Just run through it again.
Yeah, I'll run through it again for those that are late. No, I won't do that.
Rewind.
I don't think I could. If I said it all again, I don't think it'd come out the same. I think it'd be a different story. I might try that later. If I was being investigated by the police, it'd be terrible. I'd be like, well, no, I'm sure that's how it happened. I think. I kind of remember being there. It wasn't me. Shearer69 says evening all. How you doing? Matthew Day's with us, he's having a mac and cheese tonight. Yellow stickered, of course. And a quarter of a carrot cake for dessert. When you say a quarter of carrot cake, how does that actually work?
Carrot cake.
Is it like a massive carrot cake, which you've got a quarter of it? Or have you got a tiny slither, and you're just going to eat a quarter of the slither? Because if you are, that's just sick. You should not do that. You should have the whole cake. Carrot cake's good.
Leave that 1/4 and eat the rest.
Yeah, leave the 1/4, eat 3/4. That's the way forward. Thanks for the super chat from Peter S. Peter S, £5 super chat, and says B550 MSI. Well, you can see MSI Mortar Wi-Fi or Gigabyte or Elite AX. Both seem excellent. Do you have a preference? Any experience with these boards? Thank you. The MSI Mortar Wi-Fi I haven't, but I've used its bigger brother, the Tomahawk, which I found to be very good. Gigabyte Aorus Elite AX V2, isn't that a full-size board? I could be wrong. The Mortar is a Micro ATX. I think the Aorus Elite might be a larger one. Probably I would say the MSI board will be the one I would go for personally. I do tend to have a bit of a penchant, if that is the right terminology, for MSI stuff. Gigabyte's fine, don't get me wrong, I've got nothing inherently against Gigabyte, other than their RGB software, which I think sucks horrendously, and to some extent their fan monitoring software. I don't get on a great deal with that, although it has been getting better in recent years. Arguably, I would say the Aorus Elite possibly has actually got a better VRM setup than the Mortar Wi-Fi. If not, it's going to be extremely close. The Aorus Elite possibly has a better sound chip on it. It's probably going to be running AC 1200 rather than AC 893 or 89 whatever it is, these 897. Hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't fully, Discord chat, hit me up and I will try and get a much more rounded answer, hopefully. But thank you for the super chat, much appreciated. Sorry?
It may not be tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, it probably won't be tonight. It will be tomorrow if you do send me a message. Tonight, I think I'm just going to collapse and die into a corner somewhere. So, who else we got with us? Billy K, we've said. Shiver, we've done that one. Patrick LaBelle, how you doing, Patrick? Matthew Day, yes. Ugly Bob. I did notice, actually, Mike from the Ultimate Tech Hub, who is a fellow YouTube entrepreneur like myself. Great channel, actually. Go and check out if you're into your networking stuff as well. Fantastic stuff he's done. I am very envious, Michael, of your, your home, your swimming pool, your network, your house, and where you live. Other than that...
Make him a moderator, okay. And then he can put a link to his channel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wait a minute.
We'll make Mike a moderator in here so you can put a link to your own channel. I'm not bloody giving you extra views. Get your own bloody views. Actually, no, seriously, it's a great channel, so definitely worth checking out. What I was going to say is, Ultimate Tech Hub, I did notice earlier you said hello to Ugly Bob, and because you said ugly and Bob in a separate word, YouTube actually thought you were doing some kind of slur against Ugly Bob, calling him ugly, and that is not allowed, so your comment was hidden until I unhid it.
Ugly Bob's been to Ugly School for 7 years. Earned that title.
Ugly Bob has been to Ugly School and fell out the ugly tree and hit multiple branches on the way down.
I got told off for calling him just Bob this week.
Did you? Rick H with us. I think I said that already, but good evening if I didn't. Nicholas Barlow. Good evening, everybody. Rick H. Oh, he's talking about how hot it is in Vegas today. I don't even want to know. Don't even want to know. I've been stuck inside for 2 days, going stir crazy. Who else we got? Glenn's with us. How you doing, Glenn? Let me know if you want one of those cheap coolers. That's the way you do pronounce cooler, by the way, cooler. Welly Bob's with us. How you doing, Scooby-Doo? Peter S says 07. I'm not sure what that is, but thank you. Welly Bob says, almost August, I feel Christmassy. Don't say the C word. Jesus. Mark Points with us. How you doing, Mark? I better fire through these a bit quick, aren't I? William Bodie said... Peter S. Blazing Hardware. How you doing, Blazing Hardware? Not seen you in here before, or have I? Vlad FCP, good evening. How are you? Good to see you. Mark Marlowe, 2020. How you doing? Wild Bill. Wild Bill! Let's have a look. Where else did I get to? Nick Barnes. Have a great stream, everyone. Wearing a mub hoodie at barbecue, but it's raining and cold. Watch later. Stay dry. Oh, wow, that was hard. I'm struggling. My brain, because when you're doing PC stuff and it's going bad and it's someone else's PC, like if it's your own PC, it's like, okay, whatever. It's like, yeah, I'll do it when it needs doing. But when it's someone else's PC, you're in a different mindset altogether because you're really, well, I am personally, I feel personally responsible for every single thing that happens to that computer. Even when it's not in my house, I still feel responsible for it. Anyway. Silence. Simon Horn. Hi from me in Kent. How you doing in Kent? I bet it's nice and warm there. It's not very nice here. Detective says prawn bruh. More than likely. Irie Wolfman, how you doing? Sid says, my hard disk drive loves abuse. I don't think mine would. I don't think, well, other than in my NAS, I don't think I've got any hard drives at all. Everything's solid state now. I think even Cap's computer is solid state.
It is a state.
It is a state. It's bloody right shit pit. Let's be fair.
My car. It's not even my car, but it is a state now.
Wheels the OG says my RGB lights seem to have gone off. If you've got MSI Mystic Light, mine do it all the time. If the PC goes into sleep and then I wake it back up, the lights don't always come back on. The keyboard and mouse do, but quite often the PC won't. It's like, no, I'm sleeping. You're not waking me up. I have nothing more to say to you. Right, sorry, that's worked. What is Beam NG? I don't even know what it is. Let's click on play, see if it actually works. You never know. You might do, might not. Ole Anderson says, hey, from DK. Oh, is that the right? Am I using the right mouse? Yes, I am. There we go. Oh dear. Nice to see you, Ole. Or Ollie, however you pronounce that. The detective says, I changed my name to Freak. Someone out using my dot. This is awkward. I don't understand any of those words. Even if I rearrange those words into other orders, they still don't make sense. Please elaborate. Where else we? Letter's with us. How you doing, Letter? Ultimate Tech Hub, Mike says, I'm doing a new PC build for my work computer. Should be a beast. I'm actually, saying on that absolute thing. I was supposed to be doing a build in the Corsair 4000D, which I don't even know where I was under the desk. And I was umming and ahhing about going Intel. But due to the recent shenanigans going on at Intel and potentially the fact that the Arc GPUs may actually be cancelled now, I'm kind of thinking that Intel are kind of losing the plot a little bit. The processors do seem a little bit quicker, but they are using a lot more energy. So I really wanted to do a nice high-end 12th gen system, or even potentially a high-end 13th gen when they come out, which they will do very shortly. I'm actually reconsidering that now. I am strongly reconsidering it. I'm not keen on where Intel are going recently. I'm really not. Let me know in the comments what your opinions are. I really actually genuinely do want to hear your opinions on this. Firstly, did you know that Intel Arc GPUs are basically hardware flawed and they were relying on software drivers to rectify the faults, which apparently as of this weekend they've realized that the first and second iterations of the Intel chipsets, the Arc and the something beginning with B, I can't think what it is, basically both built on the same architecture, they're both flawed. So potentially we may never actually see Intel Arc GPUs in the wild, which actually is genuinely upsetting. So yeah, I'm not overly pleased with that. I was wanting them to come out and maybe do okay, but to basically almost can the entire project because of bad hardware. Now, I will say that I kind of knew this was going to happen because it's the same person who did the Vega 64 for AMD. He left AMD to go and join Intel, their graphics division. Now, the Polaris setup, which was basically the RX 480 to 580, and then morphed into kind of the Vega chipsets and Vega graphics. Clearly, he was a Mars bar short of a sweet shop. AMD have gone from strength to strength since he's gone. Let's be fair. So by Intel hiring the man who basically made AMD give out some shockingly bad processors, shockingly bad graphics cards at points that were massively power hungry as well. If we look at the Vega systems, the Vega 64, I tried a Vega 64 and it was so power hungry, it was ridiculous. I had it for about half an hour and that was it. Yeah, so did you know that? Did you know that Intel was going to be essentially going to be canning it? We should find out officially next week. So I guess we'll all have our ears pinned back listening for the information on that. Oh God, yes. Yes. What part of yes do you not understand? Oh yes, okay. Continue, sorry. That's me being stupid. Okay, that seems to work. I don't know what it's about, so I'm not going to use it. Awesome stuff. That's good. Things are working. Things are loading. Actually, let me try the Microsoft Store. I had to think what it's called then. That is working. It's actually opening. It didn't open before. It refused to open. It would flash on and it would just go away. So that is fantastic. And let's close that down. I'm actually going to run some Cinebench on this just to see what it's going like. Let's get hardware monitor up so we can see what the deal is and temperatures. Sorry if I'm kind of flitting from one thing to another, but I am multitasking. Weird. Actual man, I have got testicle that you can see if you wish to have validation. But an actual man multitasking. Who would have thunk it? Let's get Cinebench up and running before I get myself into too much trouble. Temperature wise, this thing's going to suck because the cooler is not the best for kind of high intensity 8-core workloads, but that's not my problem. Let's do just a single run, just to see if it crashes first of all.
KJ.
KJ.
I think KJ's from Bristol too.
Right, I'm going to scroll down through because I've said hello to enough people. Tristan G's with us. I've seen that. I'm a coconut. It says, when I try to remove the standoffs, they just spin. Any ideas how to get them out, especially the ones with standoffs hidden behind the motherboard? Ooh, I feel your pain. I've been there. KJ says, Mike, can I pick your brains? There's not much of that left. It really isn't. My brain is actual toast. Raspberry Pi is probably not the thing that I'm clued up on at all, really. I have used one previously, but I'm not particularly genned up on it. But you're more than welcome to ask the question. I will attempt to answer it. There may be others in the chat which have got a better answer. So, hey, it's a good time to do it. So yeah, knock yourself out, my friend. Aletta says, my 3900X will be good for the next 5 years or so. The 3900X is a great chip. It really is, isn't it? I've got one, which I upgraded from that to a 5800X. And considering it's got 4 extra cores, 8 extra threads, really? There isn't a lot between them. There really isn't. The 5800X does really well. Really, really well. Where else did I get to? William Bodie says, Mike, did you look up the Larkbox Pro? No, I didn't. Larkbox Pro. What is the Larkbox Pro? Ira says, what CPU is that? It seems slow. It's an older CPU. It is a Ryzen 7 1700, 8-core, which is... That's actually doing about right. So 7,820 points. The 1700X, which is the overclock version, gets about 1,000 points more. So I would imagine there has been a little bit of degradation there. It's terrifying to think how much difference it is. So the Intel Core i7 1700K, 7700K gets about 6,300 points. This gets 7,800 and it's got kind of effectively twice the cores. It's crazy. Although saying that, this is only running at 3 gigahertz. So modern processors where you do have those high core counts and actually high frequencies, this is going to be running about 3 gigahertz. And let's see what temperature it got to. I can't see if you're looking. Oh, 75 degrees. So kind of getting towards that area where it's going to start throttling. And so far only 3 of the cores have actually hit 3.7 gigahertz, which is kind of the turbo boost clock. So yeah, maybe the processor is starting to show, oh, there's another core, just hit 3.75. Yeah, they probably will do sooner or later. Yeah, so it's not a lightning fast processor, but gets the job done. Ugly Bob, hello, is that YouTube? Mike is threatening to get the twins out again on live stream. Can you have a word, please? Yeah. Matthew says I could easily live without the Microsoft Store.
I've never ever used it.
I don't use it a great deal, but there's some things. So if you use Xbox Game Pass, kind of it's tied into the game store to some extent. So there are elements of it that you do have to use. I'll be honest with you, I miss the days of going out and buying a physical disc to install a program. How good were those days? Even if you had to update it, it was fine. David Aikens with us, says, evening Mike, Kath and the gang. How you doing, David? Hopefully you've had a good day. KJ, basically I turned off my Pi, turned it back on again, and now it won't boot. Power light works, but the activity light isn't doing anything. I've reflashed the image. If you've reflashed the image, as long as the reflash worked, I would try another SD card to be on the safe side, micro SD card, see if it is that which is causing the problem. Micro SD cards don't last forever. That would be the first thing I would try a different one. If you've reflashed the image and it's not doing it, it could just be, it may have just died. I would check all the connections, make sure there's nothing bridged out or anything. If you've got a power button to make it turn on, make sure the power button isn't stuck. Or same for a reset switch if you've got one of those. Make sure those are done, but yeah, I'm not sure. Letter says, if a standoff spins, I'll take the motherboard out of the case and grab it with needle nose pliers. What I tend to do actually, if you've got a standoff which is spinning round and the screw's stuck, do the opposite of what you should be doing. So if you're trying to take it out, actually screw it back in as far as it'll go, and then when you're doing that, use your fingers on each side of where the screw goes. So let me grab a screwdriver so you can show you what this would be like, kind of. So imagine the motherboard screw is there somewhere in the middle. So put a load of pressure with your fingers. If need be, use both hands and try and do it on both sides like that. Just press down really hard on the motherboard. So the pressure on the pillar will actually stop the screw from spinning. So if you undo the screw, it will go. Oh yeah, sorry. Let me clear that. Oh, wrong mouse.
You've got your ears on now.
You silly sod. Is that gone? Yeah. Okay. So back to what I was saying. If you, with your motherboard, get your fingers, push down on the motherboard, like top and bottom of where the screw is, with the screw kind of in the middle. If you put a load of pressure on the motherboard, the pressure on the board will hold the pin or the pillar in place whilst you unscrew the screw. If you can, if there's two of you, or you've got someone else available that can do it, if you use both hands and just push down both fingers on 4 points around where the pillar is, when it's screwed right in, push down loads of pressure on it, not too much to obviously break the board, but enough so that you can feel it flexing underneath your fingers. Hold it in place, then get someone else to gently unscrew the screw. 9 times out of 10, that will work. Unless the screw has been cross-threaded, in which case it might need the old needle nose pliers on the back of the board. Potentially, depending on what it is, you might even, if you screw it all the way back in, you might have enough of the brass coming out the back of the motherboard or the back of the tray to actually grip on with some pliers and then use a screwdriver on the front side. A little bit tricky, but I might even do a video on that. It's something which is so simple, but actually can be really tricky. So yeah, I might actually do a video on that. Thank you for that. I am gonna do a video. How to remove stuck motherboard pillars. There we go. Oh, hang on. That's what I want to do. Let's run that again to make sure. I want it to see if it will crash. I don't think it will do. Where's the mouse? There he is. Hello. Moving on. Ultimate Tech Hub says new SD should fix the issue. Yeah, I think it probably will do. KJ says done that too. Oh, was that before or after? Oh, I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you, when it comes to the Raspberry Pi, I'm not sure. I don't even know if there's any kind of diagnostic thing you can plug in to work out what is happening, or is there like a BIOS speaker you can plug in? Like a bleep speaker you can plug into the GPIO header so you can get like post beeps? Is that a thing for Raspberry Pi? I don't know. If it is, it might be worth doing. Pyro's with us. Says, right, Mike, Christ's sake, I feel like disassembling my rig. Motherboard feels loose. New fans arrive tomorrow or Monday. So much happening at once. Mega lol. Those were the I do want to do a PC build now, I really do. After fanning around with this thing for 2 days, 2.5 days, I feel like I might have to do something different just to kind of get out of that mindset of software. But I was saying that, it seems to be working right now. It's not crashing or doing anything. It's let's have a look at the old temperatures. 72.5, just about 72. To be honest with you, that cooler don't do too bad at all. Considering it is, it's actually you think that's almost at full load at the moment, and it's still relatively silent. Well, it must be because I'm kind of right next to it. How much do we get then? Do we get the same again? I think we did. Yeah, 7833. Okay, I'm happy with that. I can live with that. That's all good. Anyway, moving on. Right, okay, so Glenn, the man who says it as it is, says hit that like button, folks. I agree. Do that. That would be much appreciated. Grim Sarge. I made a new PC and I've never had more problems with any of my rigs. After reinstalling Windows fresh, made all updates, installed everything, and in a few days, apps keep crashing all the time. Maybe a graphics card. Maybe if you've got a well, tell us more about your system and see if we can get a better idea of what might be going on. It could be something simple like the CPU cooler just not mounted properly, or RAM timing is not dialed in correctly. That does happen a lot. Where are we? David Aitkins saying TPM 2.0 is a bigger issue. Yeah, TPM is a bit of a thing. I was concerned at some point that it might be secure boot or TPM on this, but it's never been enabled, so I did well there. I disabled it from the get-go, which was good. So I was reading through your chat here. Ira Wolfman says, have you tried Clock Tuner by One USMUS? Got an undervolt at 3.8 on my 3600, less power, stable, and more performance. I've not. I've done a video recently on manually undervolting and using the AMD Ryzen Master undervolting tool, which is for 5000 series processors, and it was kind of okay. I didn't think a great deal of it. It done a little bit better, but I was expecting more, and it does seem that the results do vary massively. So when you're running those sort of things, you really need to look at what you've got running on your system at the background, because that does seem to have a massive effect on it. Where are we? Pyro, what's the specs of it, Mike? What is the specs of what? What, this? It is a ASRock B450 Pro 4 motherboard, a Ryzen 7 1700 8-core 16-thread processor, Corsair DDR4 LPX 3000 RAM, 2 sticks, 16 gigs, 2x8, Sahara Pirate Ring fans, and the Sahara Iced Gem CPU cooler, and a Sahara controller. The case, I think, is a Ions KZ24, I think, maybe KZ16, I'm not sure, it was one of those two. Graphics card is a Asus dual fan, I can't think what the model is now, RTX 3060, yeah, it's basically the dual fan one, so it's kind of like the entry level, but yeah, nice little card actually, quite small. And it's quite nice how there is a little bit of addressable RGB, which isn't addressable on the side. So you've got like a purple into blue lamp there. So the blue kind of matches with the blue from the Crucial logos, and the purple kind of matches with some of the RGB elements on the top. So yeah, ties in quite nicely, I think. It's got a Wi-Fi card in there, which is a Intel AX210 chipset, so Wi-Fi 6, 160 Hertz, I think it is, something along those lines, with 2 massive antennae on the back, which is always good. Power supply is a CIT Professional 500 watt bronze. It's fine. It's fine, honestly. It's actually CIT, but it's not. It's made by Channelwell Technologies, CWT. It's actually a half decent power supply, so don't worry. And for those of you that are thinking 500 watts, RTX 3060 is absolutely fine. If you do a calculation of all the stuff that's just in here, even with the 2 SSDs as well, maximum load, fully whacked out, is 365 watts. And it's a 500 watt power supply, it's 80 plus bronze, so you take off kind of 10%-ish. Even if you take off 20%, so 20% of 500 is 50. Is that right? Yeah. No, 100, so 400, so yeah, it's still covering it. It's fine. Better power supply is always a good thing, but it's fine. Stuart Cleary with a super chat says, thanks Mike for the very helpful videos. You should maybe post every other day and give yourself a well-deserved break in the workload. To be honest with you, I can't. As much as I would like to. Even if I don't post a video, I'm either answering YouTube questions, speaking to suppliers, sorting out returns, sorting out stuff I've sold on, Facebook Marketplace, doing my tax returns.
I've left that a long time and did it this week.
What else is there? All sorts of things. Just general stuff. So even if I turn around and said, right, I'm not making a video today, it wouldn't make a blind bit of difference. And to be honest with you, making the videos actually sometimes breaks the day up, because if it's something which I've not planned, and it's just like I'm researching something and all of a sudden it's like, oh God, that's so cool. I should tell people about this. Those are the videos I really enjoy making, because it's kind of, they're really spontaneous. I haven't had to think about it or do any prep or anything. It's literally, this is what I've done. I've been trying to fix a PC. I've had to use this tool or this product, or I've gone to this setting, I've changed this, and wow, this is what happens. This could help people. And doing those videos are great, because once I've actually done the kind of the research and prep, or I've just stumbled across it, it's kind of like 10 minutes to make the video sometimes, and then probably about another 10 minutes, 15 minutes to edit it. So the actual video making isn't that much of a chore. Obviously, if there's other videos, like I've got a video at the moment for, actually, oh no, I don't want to, can you pass it out, Kath, or not?
What's that?
The NAS is down there, please. We've got a NAS which has been sent to us from our friends over at Asus Store. And this is a mental little NAS. It really is. So it's their new AS6702T, I think it is. Yeah, 6702T. To most people, this looks like just a standard 2-bay NAS, which it looks like. But it's got 2 hard drive bays. It's got 4 NVMe bays. It's also got a Intel processor, quad core. It's also got an HDMI output, so you can effectively run this like a PC using things like Opera browser, Chrome, etc. You can use a normal browser on it. You can install applications on it, such as Amazon Video and all that kind of stuff. Basically, you can make a media center PC out of this, but also have it as your NAS to back up all your data. It's got 2 2.5 gig Ethernet ports. It's just insane. 6 bays. And it basically is a PC as well. It is a phenomenal piece of kit. Now, stuff like this takes ages to review, because you have to use it, you have to install it, get a feel for it, shoot all the B-roll, show all the close-ups inside, learn the specs, know the specs, so you can actually say them on camera in a relatively fluent manner. And yeah, something like this will take probably a week at least to get to grips with and work out. So these are the sort of things which go on in the background. So even if I'm not recording in a day, I may well be kind of prepping, which I've actually done some prep on this already. For a NAS, this thing is fast, like super fast. Just flicking through apps and playing around with it, it just feels really super snappy, which for a NAS is unusual, because normally they're a bit laggy. Price-wise is where this is going to fall over for a lot of people, because you look at 2-bay NAS, the obvious 2 drives, and you think, wow, that's expensive. But if you look at it from the point of being a 6-bay, taking into account the NVMe drives, and the fact that it is basically a Plex server and output at the same time, it's not too bad. It's somewhere in the region of about £400, which, being driveless, is a little bit steep. But if you don't want to have a media center PC, but you do want a NAS and you want to have the combination of the two, it's extremely cool. And it comes with 4 gigs of RAM as standard. You can upgrade that to, I think, maximum, I think it was 12 gigs. Or is it another 16? 20 gigs I think you can put in there altogether. 20 gigs of RAM if you wanted to, if you want to run loads of apps. But yeah, it is a very cool and very fast bit of kit. This would be ideal for someone if you've got it next to your PC and you have your kind of big storage on there, but maybe if you're video editing, you put your video footage on here, load it up from the USB stick, from a flash drive, that kind of thing. That's who it's going to be great for. And then if you're watching Plex movies, you can watch it on a PC or just connect it to a TV. Putting one of these actually behind your living room telly is the perfect place for it. It really is. 42-inch screen or 50-inch screen.
You can use our telly, but we've
Yeah.
got one behind it.
Have one of these connected to your TV, so if you want to, you can just fire it up. Use a wireless keyboard like the Logitech ones or something, or what's the other one? Anyway, whatever your wireless keyboard of choice is, connect it up to there. You can use that, connect it up to your telly, plugs into HDMI, supports up to 4K, 60 Hertz. So yeah, it's an awesome bit of kit. So it not only is it a PC, it's kind of like a workstation, and also you can back up your stuff. And that's what brought me onto it. It was ironic that I had this come this week, and if these guys would have had a NAS or any form of backup, most of this could have been avoided. Probably all of it, to be fair. Hardware failures, not a great deal you can do about it, but my PCs, Caf's PC, even my stream PC, even my new laptop, I just bought myself a new little cheap laptop. Every PC connects to my Synology NAS and boots up and does a backup. It's the first thing it does every day. Backup, backup, backup. And of those backups, I keep about...
I do that to you as well.
Yeah, I keep about 10 to 15 instances of each backup as a snapshot. So if I change something last week, and it's like, oh shit, I deleted that last week, I can go back to my previous backup. Oh, there it is, pluck the file out, job done. Or if the system fails altogether, I can just create a Synology boot disk, plug it in on a USB, and then I'll pull the data off the NAS, restore it onto my computer, laptop, whatever, and back up and running. Seriously, if you haven't already, get yourself a NAS. Don't matter what brand it is, Synology, ASUS, QNAP, TerraMaster, whoever you want.
Sure I understand.
You wouldn't, because you are from Apple and you don't do NASes. Any of the brands are absolutely fine. Some work better than others. I like Synology for the fact that their backup software is awesome, but the ASUS one is faster, cheaper, and more flexible. But you don't have that kind of amalgamated control center, which I kind of like for the individual PCs, for monitoring what's been backed up and what hasn't. So yeah, horses for courses. But if you haven't got one in any way, shape or form, get one. As Bob says there, the ASUS NAS I have is absolutely silent. They are good. They are good. If only ASUS would send me a 4-bay that takes 4 physical hard drives and maybe some SSDs, I would switch over to ASUS. I was on the fence, and I did speak to them actually at one point. I said, look, can you just send me a discount code or something so I can buy your, was it AS6604T I think it was, which was their 4-bay kind of budget model. I was like, that'd be fine, that's what I want, that's what I need. And they're like, well, we can do. And I'm like, please, just send me one. Send me one, it'd be great. Anyway. And ASUS have got 2.5 gigabit LAN built in straight off the bat, where Synology, I don't think even in some of their higher end models at the moment have got 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. And you do notice it's slowing you down if you're using 1 gigabit Ethernet with some NASes, if you want really fast, quick, snappy backups. Anyway, Stuart Cleary says, I wish I backed up years ago. I lost most of my family photos to a ransomware. I know, mate, it's horrendous. It genuinely is. When you lose data, like even with this, Like, it's not even my data, but I'm literally heartbroken for it. I really am. It's extremely upsetting and frustrating. And if there was a backup situation in place for this, the last 2 days, I could have been doing other things rather than literally wrestling with this PC. And I know it's a stupid thing to say, but I have been literally wrestling with the hard drives in this thing, just like, come on, just do what you're supposed to do, please. Please, be Jesus, help me out. I'm a good person, honestly. Help me out.
Can you go back up to It's Bucko?
It's Cuckoo. No, It's Bucko. Wake up screen. I was paranoid then in case that crashed. I really...
It's just down from the super chat.
3 down from the super chat. Let's have a look. I can't find the super chat now. There we are. Hi, I've upgraded from a Ryzen 3 3200G to a Ryzen 5 3600. Now I'm getting a black screen. I'm using a B550 Aorus Elite Mobo and a 1060 6GB graphics card. Could it be the BIOS version? Is F 1.4? No, if it's a Ryzen... Hang on, what motherboard is it? A B550. No, B550 would support a Ryzen 5 3600 out of the gate. So, are you plugging your graphics card into your monitor, or are you plugging your monitor into your motherboard? That could be the problem. Very common thing to do, and if you're using HDMI or DisplayPort, it could be the kind of old HDMI bug or DisplayPort bug where you just get a black screen and you can't see the login screen. Just try plugging it into physically a different... If you're using DisplayPort, definitely try plugging it into a different port on the graphics card. That might help you. PC 2022 says, who says Kath even needs training? She might be the proest of us all. What was that? What do they want you trained as, Kath?
To do a video for you instead.
Oh, bloody hell, yeah.
I'm
If
behind
only.
the camera every time. I am in here.
Kath is behind the camera every time, keeping an eye on things like audio levels and making sure I'm in focus. And
I do lots of links in the videos and blah blah.
Kath is the unsung hero. If
Not that far.
If it wasn't for her, we'd have no affiliate codes, and we would be poor. Where are we? Ugly Bob says 400 notes isn't that bad for a NAS of decent quality. It comes with anything. It comes down to what is it worth to you. So, like for me personally, the things that I back up. Kath's PC, if Kath's PC failed, that for me would be a headache. Because she has her PC set up just how she likes it. So to have to start afresh would be disastrous. It really would. I would hate every second of setting it back up again. And also you've got things like some of the software and some of the pictures you can't replace, can you? You just can't. If you haven't got them backed up somewhere, you're skating on very thin ice. No, something else actually. All of our family photos and even just the stuff I do here. So say for instance I take a picture now. I'll do it live actually. So let's take a picture. Alright, that's the wrong way around. So I'll take a picture. So taking a picture, and if I go now into my Synology Photos mobile, that's going to be backing up into the cloud. So my phone is sending it out through the cloud via a secure SSL connection, and it should be appearing on my screen, but no, it's not typically. Oh, why is that not backed up? It's typical.
Don't work with
Did I actually
kids
press?
or animals.
Did I actually press the button? Let's go into photos. Oh, it is there. It's quite a good one. Photos mobile. Oh, it is there. It's at the top of the screen. So
Yeah, it's the other way around from the other.
So in my Photos mobile app, if I scroll out, so Synology Photos mobile, go into that like you would your normal photos, and there you go, there's your photo. So now that picture is on my phone, but it's also on the NAS being backed up onto 4 different drives. So if I want to now, because I want to free up some space, if I go into settings, I can scroll down and where is it? This is the bit I always get. I always forget to do this. Where is it? Oh, I forget. So I'm under pressure and my brain's falling asleep. Tap to set up, is it in there? Oh yeah. You go in there, click on free up space and click on clear. So now it's going to delete all the photos which are locally stored on the device. So it says allow Photos Mobile to delete 16 items. So yeah, click on delete. And now all those pictures which were taking up space or videos that were taking up space on my phone are now secure on the NAS, and I've still got access to them like you would with Google Photos, but it's your own personal cloud, which is absolutely awesome. I love it. It's good. I am determined I'm going to sever links with OneDrive, but the only thing is my OneDrive account at the moment does back up our kind of company tax stuff. And that is kind of like, if you lose your tax information, potentially you can get into a lot of trouble. So actually having it backed up in the cloud and also physically on the NAS does make some sense. So you may not be able to totally get rid of things like OneDrive or Dropbox or Google Photos, all that kind of stuff. But the more places you've got your data, the better in terms of security for recovering it. When it comes to security of actually maintaining the security of your data and it not leaking out elsewhere, then yeah, that's another story. But you can't have it both. There's basically a triangle. So you've got kind of like security, ease of use, and privacy. And you've got to find somewhere in that triangle where it just about hits the sweet spot. You may find that it's ultra security, in which case don't have your data online, don't have it backed up in various places. It is what it is. I don't think people put enough thought and care and protection into their data. I genuinely don't. I personally didn't, and I probably still don't to some extent, as much as I should do. What's that? Report. Sorry, just reporting someone for spam. Happy days. Oh, another one.
We've all reported them already.
Oh, you've all reported them? Okay.
Well,
Takes a while, doesn't it?
I did a million, but
there must be something that actually, there must be some sort of software which scans all live streams and allows those bots to work. Well, I don't get how, like, someone who watches the videos and is a subscriber, like, oh God, what's his name? You can never get onto the streams.
Lord Erectus.
Lord Erectus. Can't ever get in. I wonder if it's because his name is Lord Erectus. Because it's erect.
But you can erect a property.
Yeah, true. Good point. Anyway, yeah, Lord Erectus can't get into the streams. You cannot comment. But yeah, you can. YouTube will quite happily let Love Chat XYZ Best Adult Dating Site in.
But you shouldn't watch them all the time, should you?
No. You go blind. Chris McGraw says, always have 2 backups, one local and one off-site is the best advice. Yeah, actually what I'm going to be doing soon, I'm going to do a video on it actually, and that is using a USB drive with your NAS. So you back up your NAS to a USB drive and you have 2 USB drives. So one which is connected, and then every month or so you swap out the drives. So maybe you could have 3 drives, I don't know, whatever you can afford. But physically take one drive with your backups and take it to someone's house, a friend's house, take it to your workplace, leave it in your locker, whatever. That is what you should be doing. That is the ultimate way of doing it. So a physical backup, a NAS backup if you can, so a dual physical backup, so your PC and a NAS. Then you've also got your online backups if you can, so upload to a cloud service, and then another physical copy of the data in a different physical location is a very good way of doing it. It doesn't have to be the whole NAS either, or your whole PC. It just can be your My Documents folder if you want to, if you're organised with your data. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, Kath, could I trouble you to get me an alcoholic beverage from the fridge, please?
Oh, Maisie won't let me.
Okay.
Come on, Maisie.
David Underhill says, I even back up all my emails, all my 352,281 of them. Quick, everybody, send David Underhill emails. Let's get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
Do you want a glass?
Yeah, go on in, please. I'll wipe off the pig urine, whatever. So this is out of date on the. Well, you can probably see it better than I can. Is that focusing?
Okay, I can't get through.
I don't know if it did. Did it focus? Yeah, the 28th of the 2nd. So the end of February this year. It'll be right. Still got that Foster's smell to it. Ah dear. I try TrueNAS with RAID Z2 with 8 hard disk drives of 160 gig. Just try and upgrade it slowly to bigger disks. That is, yeah, data storage and being a data storage junkie is an expensive hobby, and it isn't easy to do. And it can be extremely frustrating. You can tell how out of date that is because it's actually not even producing a head hardly. Cheers, everybody. Oh, I can taste the bubbles. Actually, is that supposed to be bubbling like that? Or is that because it's gone off? It's just fermenting. Chris McGraw says you can make a NAS from an old potato PC I'd lying around as a viable option. You can, but I think that is also something of a mistake, if I'm completely honest with you. Because if you're using an old potato PC, what are you using as your SATA controllers for the drives? Like if you're buying a separate hardware RAID controller, then okay, maybe you got a leg to stand on because you can always take that controller out, put it into a new PC should anything fail. But using an old potato PC where you don't know if it's going to last.
Lord Erectus is in.
Hey, here's Lord Erectus in the house. Yeah, if you're using an old PC, if something fails on it and you've got a RAID set up, you try rebuilding that RAID on different hardware. I guarantee you're going to struggle. I guarantee it. Which is one of the nice things about Synology and also ASUS Store, and I think to some extent as well, I could be right with saying QNAP. As long as the hardware is the same family generation, so like Plus models for Synology work with other Plus models, non-Plus models work with another non-Plus models. So if you're say for instance my 420 Plus died tomorrow, I could go out and buy a 920 Plus or 940 Plus, take out the drives and stick them in there and it'll fire up. Which not a lot of people actually know that it's a thing, but you can actually do that. So not ideal, but it will do it. Why is there no head on that at all? This is like lemonade. Cheers, everybody. Bob says, get it down your neck, you lightweight. I'm trying. It's hard to talk and drink at the same time. It's called gargling. Lord Erectus. Look at that. You got your name on the screen. Did I hear my name? Say my name.
He says many thanks, but what have we done?
Yeah. We've done literally nothing apart from said your name out loud.
Many times.
William Bodie says, Mike, does the Foster taste like kangaroo pee? I'll be honest with you, I've never sucked off a kangaroo, so I couldn't tell you, but...
Directors? When I was pregnant with Angel, I did
not
the
bad.
same as an adult female kangaroo.
You did. You really did. I'm looking for the ingredients. So, water. Good start. Malted barley, glucose syrup, barley, hops, hop extract, and that's it. Ooh, it's gassy. Excuse me. Anyway. Lord Rex says, I was watching and heard you. I did say your name out loud, saying that you couldn't connect. Or you couldn't chat, and there you are, living the dream. Glenn's on the San Miguel. It's not great. To be honest with you, I haven't had a drink in... When's the last time I had a drink?
Quite a few weeks ago.
The last time I had a drink was on a stream, weeks ago. Anyway. Aletta says, Aussies say they make Fosters for the tourists and they save the good stuff for themselves. Why can't you buy Castlemaine 4X anymore?
Or too good to be true ice cream.
Yeah. Right, okay, let's, what else am I going to try on here? I want to be able to do something on the system to stress it out slightly. What else? I'm sure there's other software that needed installing, but I can't think what it was. Actually, where's my phone? Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm digressing, but I've got to do it because that PC has got to be done and has got to go. It's driving me insane. Well, they're saying that it's working quite nicely now. So we've done FIFA 22, that's all done. Right, Assetto Corsa. Is this alphabetical? Yes. So Assetto Corsa, yes.
Ask Lord Directors how.
BeamNG. Resident Evil 7. That's not alphabetical. Oh, but that's not been done, has it? Resident Evil, Resident Evil, Resident Evil. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, it's done but not installed. Right, let's let that do. Happy days are
That's
here
Trojan,
again.
Harry, not Trojan.
The Trojan, Foster's is actually okay. It's pretty rare in Australia these days, except at pubs in tourist areas. To be honest with you, I don't mind it. It's all right.
Ask Lord Directors, he says he found out why a person can't join the stream. Ask why.
Lord Erectus, why can a person not join the stream? I want to know. We need to know. So we've got Lord Erectus. Actually, there's quite a few people from Australia in the chat, I think, in there. Or at least two.
Yeah, there's another one as well, isn't there?
Trojan. Lord Erectus. Ooh. Check it out later.
Is David Underhill?
David Underhill.
I don't know if he is.
David Underhill. XXXX was made in the UK, but under the new parent company was not renewed for the contract for the export markets. Huh. What was it? Australians wouldn't give a Castlemaine 4X for anything else. Good stuff.
Oh, shut my live chat.
Aletta's Dragon's Milk has given her a bit of a buzz. What is Dragon's Milk? That sounds evil.
It's Guinness.
Ah, got you. Lord Erector says, because you must use the YouTube app for the chat to work. Oh, if you've got an iPhone or Android with the older version of the YouTube app or the older browser, then it won't do it. Resident Evil 7. Start game. Ooh, continue. That sounds good. Options. God, blimey. Tristan G. See, if anything has come out of this stream, it is this, which is a good thing. Regarding backup, you've inspired me to rehook up my 4TB MyBook external backup drive. Good for you. But make sure when you hook it up, you actually use it. Install something like Macrium. Use Macrium Reflect and set a daily task to image the drive, the entire PC, and send it out to that drive. You will thank me for it one day. Possibly. Right, graphics, screen resolution, 1080p, 60 Hz, ray tracing on. No, turn that off because that's just silly. Full screen mode, field of vision 90 degrees, otherwise everyone gets a bit seasick. Frame rate variable, yeah, we'll have variable. And VSync, we might as well turn that on. That's good. Happy days. Right, well, that appears to work. I've not played this game, so I don't even know what it is all about. Let's do continue. Load most recent save data. See if it's actually going to load the data. That'd be interesting. If this is a Steam game, it should do. XXXX was taken over by a Japanese beverage conglomerate, Kirin, in 2019, who also make processors for Huawei.
Who are we?
Who are we? Ooh, guns. Hey, this is cool. Oh well, it seems to work. Oh, there's a hanging basket in someone's dodgy shower. Is that actually visible? Yes, it is. Good. You can actually see what I'm talking about. So, actually, this is a pretty cool looking game. The movement's really nice as well.
Toilet clean.
Look at the state of that bath. Someone's taken a proper shit in there. Oh, look at the shadows. Am I a bloke or am I a bird? Got any titty shadows? Or dicky shadows? No, can't see neither. Must be one of those albinos. That shower head needs cleaning. What they could do with that shower head is stick it in some Coca-Cola. Or bicarb and vinegar. Dirty. It's a nice shower as well. Triple tap. Wow. Rocking it. No towels though. And the bog rolls had better days. Oh no. Actual bog rolls next to the antique coin. For spending a penny. Sorry, I'll go. Those towels look better than ones in our bathroom. They actually do. Their shower curtains cleaner as well. I feel like Rocky Balboa. Da-da-da, da-da-da. No, that's not for that. Right, where do I go? This is not the most comfortable setup, to be honest with you. Oh, this is cool. What are we supposed to actually do in this game? Doesn't that look like the stairs when I did our stairs game? Remember when I did that? Bits of banister on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Hey, this is pretty awesome.
You're not holding the knife right.
Should I hold it like that? Am I doing the Adam and the Ants thing? Prince Charming, Prince Charming, ridicule, nothing to be scared of. Sorry. Oh, actually, this isn't my game. I should stop this. Right, end. Yes, I don't want to save anything. That was okay. I like the tape cassette thing. That's good, isn't it? Exit. Oh well, it works. It didn't crash, and it showed pictures, not pretty pictures, but pictures nonetheless. And it hasn't crashed. Much happiness. Right, moving on. That is the first time I've ever played a Resident Evil game, I think. Possibly. Irie Wolfman says, wait till the lady shows up. Oh, God, I don't want to see that. Tristan G says, Macrim, please provide a couple of details. If you go into our YouTube channel, any of the videos, and do a search, just look for Macrium. So it's M-A-C-R-I-U-M, and you'll see it. I've done a couple of videos on it. It's really good stuff. Dragon's Milk is a dark stout with bourbon. 11% alcohol. Blimey, yeah, it would give you a bit of a buzz. I'll have a pint of Dragon's Milk, please.
Check, Dutch Jan's got a question.
Dutch Jan, Dutch Jan. Ugly Bob says that'll be Dave Aitken. He poops in the shower, apparently. We've all done it, haven't we?
Probably says no. No. What's wrong?
Lord Erector says I have a better solution that will solve your failed drive's headache.
Is it raining?
Does it involve lots of alcohol? Oh, Assetto Corso has a built-in benchmark you could run. Ooh, let's try that then. Can I find it from here? Assetto. No. Why is it some games give you a shortcut, some don't? Oh, I suppose it's because I didn't install them correctly. Alright, we'll try that. Says Chris says you can break the boxes. Okay. Stuart Cleary used to be scolded for looking at the detail like that in COD multiplayer. It's like, wow, look at the surroundings. While the rest of your team are being annihilated. My dad was a drill instructor in the Marines. I know how to hold a knife, lol. I know how to hold a knife, especially when you're cutting steak. Fork. I'll be doing that tomorrow night with my kangaroo. No, not kangaroo, the other one.
Ostrich.
Ostrich steak. If you've not had ostrich, you need to eat ostrich. There's possibly... right, sorry, I'm digressing.
Have you done Dutch Jan yet?
Dutch Jan. Question, Mike, my second PC starts up really slow, more than 5 minutes. MSI B550A Pro Ryzen 5. What could that be? Could be that you've got fast boot enabled. It could be that it's looking for a USB drive on boot up. That is quite a common thing. So make sure in your boot order that you've only got your main drive and all the other drive devices are disabled. So it doesn't look for another one. Strangely, George's PC, he's got a PC, MSI B350 PC Master or PC Plus or something. And yeah, that does a similar sort of thing. Right, let's try benchmark. Here we go, benchmarking. I saw a little bit of weird stuff on the bottom of the screen then. So that means it's going to crash.
What do you say ostrich tastes more like?
Ostrich tastes like a very, very tasty steak.
Yeah.
A very well, nicely done steak,
like chicken.
But with a bit more beefy kind of...
Very more beefy than beef.
It is more beefy than beef, I swear.
I thought that was the cat growling then. No, it's
I can't see how many FPS it's
not
getting.
stringy, is
Oh,
it?
100 and...
Unless you cut it. Mike cuts it wrong.
No, ostrich steak is amazing. It's not stringy.
Unless you go the wrong way on the
There's
screen.
virtually no fat. It's like pulled pork, but without any gristle or any fat content. It's absolutely amazing.
But we do pour the fat from the pan on top of it.
Ostrich steak. Ostrich steak. Ostrich steak. And there's a super chat coming in from our man who can, Mr. Cleary. Thank you very much, sir, for your €10 for more soothing beer. This is very soothing, actually. It is helping with my mood because I was in a foul mood. I was pissed earlier. I didn't know whether to be angry or to cry. Did you ever get that? So you're so raging internally, you don't know whether you just want to go and cry somewhere or just smash the shit out of things. Fortunately, I smashed the shit out of my tears. So that worked out well.
We did say that hard drive had nothing to offer, but it did offer that black cloud over your head for 2 days.
Yeah.
Miserable bugger.
Yeah. Irie Wolfman says little ostrich was stringy. Oh. We have the, what's it called? The brand?
I'm not 1000% on the brand, but those ones we had at...
You can get them on Amazon anyway. It's the same brand as you can buy on Amazon. Do a search. You get 2 big steaks for like £5.50, £6. And they taste much better than a real steak in my opinion. Now I do cook them in lard.
No, I ain't got any liver flame.
And they taste amazing.
But you have to be careful.
Oh, bless you, Bob.
Be careful which way you cut them.
There is £10 from Ugly Bob says, here's a tenner to mop up your anger tears. They were frustration tears. Love chat, dating, fuck off. Sorry. Don't like to use bad
Well,
words.
you don't need to open them.
I'm showing the people.
Don't eat them raw.
There you go. Pre-grilled ostrich fillet steak. Is that
Are they pre-grilled?
yeah. Pre-grilled for her pleasure. So ostrich fillets. Did that actually focus at all? It did. Fair play. And that's what it looks like. They're frozen at the moment. Well, they're defrosting, but so you get two big old steaks there. It's not boiling the bag because that's ridiculous, but wait for them to defrost. They don't look very big, and you think, well, they're going to be tiny, but they actually get bigger when they're cooking, bizarrely. They actually get bigger.
They pop up.
They kind of almost fluff up, but I think it might be because I literally cook them in lard. Get a big scoop of lard, chuck it in the pan, get it nice and hot, chuck these in, they soak up some of that lard. Oh, amazing.
Can you get up from the table yet?
I'm not going to stand up because I am getting a full-on robo chubby. I'm not, I'm joking. Oh, there it goes. Right, okay. Oh, I've got a benchmark. So, FPS average 200, minimum 66, maximum 248, variance 8 CPU equals 87%.
Did I have to get another beer, did you say?
Yes, please, go on then. I'm guessing that's okay. 200 frames per second, average. That works for me. Is that good? Ugly Bob says, you've been looking at new tables yet? Do you know what? I actually nearly got into a rage on Facebook Marketplace, which, to be honest with you, like, if you go onto Facebook Marketplace, you're going to get into some sort of rage anyway, aren't you? Because it's just full of absolute twats, excuse my French. But I was just scrolling through and there was a table and it said wooden tables, local, best prices. And it's like £24 for this, basically like the tabletop I've got here. And it said any sizes available to order. So I had a close look at it. This same person is listing it in basically every sale site throughout the UK. Different regions, like for sale, Bristol for sale, Cardiff for sale, here, there, and bloody everywhere. So clearly they're not selling that table for 24 quid, but you message them and then they say, oh yeah, we can do that for you. It'll be £500. So yeah, that pissed me off because I do actually want a table basically the same as this size, but in real wood. Actually, I wouldn't mind bamboo. I think bamboo would be nice and would probably be quite long lasting. And it's quite recyclable, isn't it, bamboo?
Not the old one.
Not the old bamboo. The old bamboo, the old bamboo, the old bamboo. Oh God, I really shouldn't drink ever. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, so I'd quite like a bamboo tabletop. I think that'd be really nice. But I would stain it like they used to in the 90s on changing rooms. Well done.
When they had those floated shelves for the teapots on.
Yeah, we'll attach the table to the ceiling with rope, and then we'll put loads of expensive stuff on the table and wait for it all to fall in the middle of the night and destroy everything for the next day. That's exactly what we should do. Like Lawrence Llewellyn, F-Wit. No, it's Ryder Richardson, wasn't it?
Somebody on. Brilliant.
Stuart Cleary with another €10. He's single-handedly keeping the channel afloat along with Bob, which means you're not single-handedly doing it, Anna Raleigh and all the others that chime in. Thank you. Carol Smiley.
What happened to her?
Cheers, Mike. You're a good guy. I try. It's hard sometimes with the world being what it is, but I do try. Carol Smiley, she got ill, didn't she?
She?
Yeah, she had like depression or something. Which is ironic if you've got a name like Carol Smiley and you're depressed. It's like, why would you want to do that? Bless you, Rick. There's $20 from our man Rick H. It says for your next tabletop. I do want a bamboo tabletop, but I'd stain it white. But I want that real wood feeling. Don't we all, ladies? Oh, I'm going to get myself into trouble. Gito J says, I just saw your Kernel 41 error video. I tried everything you mentioned, Something about a faulty reset or power
Oh,
button,
Maisie, stop it.
but it didn't really explain any tips. Yes, kernel 41 can be, because basically kernel 41 means your PC shut down without any intervention or without you telling it to. So say for instance you press and hold the power button on your PC, it'll shut down after like 5 seconds or something. And same with the reset button. If you accidentally press the reset button, it'll turn your PC off without shutting down cleanly. So if you've got a slightly iffy reset switch, or your power button's getting stuck, potentially it could cause error 41 if there's no other problems at all. Hopefully that explains it a little bit better. David Underhill says bamboo is not wood. What? What? How come?
It's cave.
It's wooden-ish. Hang on, no, let's rewind. How can bamboo not be wood? It looks like wood, it feels like wood. You can sand it like wood. You can do things to it like you would with wood. Wood.
Clean your teeth
Wood.
with it.
Yeah, I've got a bamboo Kath, go and get my bamboo toothbrush.
No.
I will show
I'd
you.
have to call.
Every morning I have put wood in my mouth. Genuinely. And the wood I put in my mouth has got a little green end on it.
Mine's got red end.
Maybe that's why I keep on getting a sore throat. So I keep on putting green wood in my mouth.
Right, I'm getting really behind.
Z8 Zouter. Never saw a table made of bamboo. Bamboo is very flexible without break, but not sure how good it'd be for a big table. Well, I saw a picture of it, and it looks pretty awesome, because IKEA do a bamboo wooden table. I don't know. William Bodie says, at Cath Churchill, Foster beer makes Mike dirty. No, I think it's just, it's been very pent up this week, and a little bit of alcohol kind of loosens you up a bit. Like. I like this mouse actually. Considering this is possibly, I'd say arguably one of the cheaper mice that I've got actually here for gaming mice and stuff. It's actually quite nice. I'm getting quite used to this. It's got quite a nice feel to it. Actually, bizarrely, I don't think I would, but the grip on the side, ribbed for his pleasure, is actually quite nice. You can actually grip it. It's kind of good. Aletta says bamboo is actually a type of grass. We actually have bamboo growing at Kath's mum's, and we steal it to grow our tomatoes against. It's good.
I don't steal it, I just take it. I ask her for it.
Bamboo is the largest grass. Yeah, you wouldn't want to stick it between your lips to make you whistle, would you?
But you'd clean your teeth with it.
Clean the teeth with it. The answer to your drive problem is to virtual machine it. I can't virtual machine it because it's dead. I would love to virtual machine it. I'd love to do anything to it. But it is actually dead. Like dead.
And it's not yours.
And there's no data, and it's not mine. Tristan G says the best cutting boards are made of bamboo. John Sullivan, how you doing, John Sullivan? Good to see you.
You can get salt.
And Zeno Xenomorph, sorry, just noticed saying bamboo is grass. I know it is, I'm just being facetious.
You can get
It's
salt.
bloody wood, isn't it? It's not grass. Fuck's sake.
Go mow the grass.
I'm going to go and mow the bamboo.
Babe.
Good luck with that.
You
Hello.
can get bamboo socks.
What kind of witchcraft is that? Right, back to reality. Hi Mike, advice for a Logitech G910, typing double or triple. Should I remove the keycaps and air spray them? I heard some people say that the PCB needs cleaning. I'm not sure. If it's double or triple typing on a G910, hang on, what is a G910? That is a keyboard, isn't it? If it's a mechanical switch, if you're pressing it and it's registering more than once, it shouldn't really do that because that means the debounce setting is not being used. So it could be a faulty switch, or is it membrane? Or is it mechanical or is it membrane? I'm not sure. Ordinary Dude says it grows wild all over here. Yeah, we got... If you get bamboo growing, it's basically impossible to stop almost. Oh, Lord of Rector says before it's dead. No, it is dead. It's dead, Jim. There's life, Jim, but not as we know it. Stuart Clary, did you hear about the wooden car? It wouldn't work. Oh dear. Please God.
Bad Joke Friday.
It's Bad Joke Saturday. Aletta's currently on Amazon looking for a bamboo mower. I'm sure there'll be one. It is a keyboard, okay, John. If it's Logitech keyboard G910. Is it mechanical?
What, the mower?
That would be mechanical. But is the keyboard mechanical? If it is, you might need a few keys, mainly the vowels. So it sounds like it's ones you use more frequently then, because generally you tend to use vowels more often, I think. So it could just be dirt and debris. So I would say first thing to do is get some sort of air duster or something in there. Maybe even some contact cleaner. You can buy specific contact cleaning spray, which I actually use. I'm not sure if I've got any here at the moment actually. I think my last one ran out, but yeah, contact cleaning spray. It's not like WD-40 or anything, it is properly designed for cleaning contacts. It might be just where the mechanical contacts are, but just keep on accidentally touching. It is mech, thanks. Okay. Yeah, if it's a few keys, it's weird. If they're all in one row or something, you think that's an electrical problem. But if it's mainly the vowels, I would say it's just the fact that it's keys that you're using a lot and they probably got dirty or dusty.
So is the
I'm
bamboo,
not sure how.
is the bamboo table in like little circles? Or is it like
No, it's a big chunk.
slices of
It's a
wood?
slab. Big slab of wood.
Of like,
It just
it's not
looks like a
little-
pine table. So I'm guessing they get bamboo, they crush it all up, and then,
like they make turkey ham.
yeah, it's like turkey ham. It's the Bernard Matthews of IKEA tables. James Brock says, anyone build in the Roswell Spectra X or D100? Roswell, basically, I think are kind of, is it either Newegg or one of those brands over in the States, which is kind of bought by them. So Roswell as a brand has actually been bought up by one of those companies. I'm not sure who it is. So Roswell used to be able to buy pretty much all over the world. They've now become like an in-house brand, I think. Might be Newegg. Might be Newegg. John says, good shout. Yeah, if you're using an electrical contact cleaner, unplug the keyboard because you don't want any short circuits. So unplug the keyboard first, then give it a little spray. Take the keycap off, give it a little spray inside, press the key cap a few times and see how it goes. Chris McGraw, I agree. Yeah, I was trying to use Test Drive in DOS, and that was kind of a little bit confusing, I've got to be honest with you. Lord of Rector says the drive is not dead. Well, it's not dead, it's just intermittently working. So, a bit like our government. Although intermittent is probably a bit of a strong push. Oh, I've still got this going. How do I get out of this bloody thing? Options, exits, there we go.
David Underhill still not on many emails. Need to get those rookie numbers up.
Come on, you gotta get your rookie numbers
His
up.
email address though.
John Sullivan says a few on. John, have you actually spilt anything on that keyboard? Do you know?
Because George put tomato ketchup between my 8 and 9 key once, and all my passwords went in wrong and we couldn't get them right ever.
I think this is actually working, this PC. I'm quite happy.
It was fine.
What do you think about the look of this PC? Do you think it looks quite nice? I actually like it. I think it's quite stylish. Anyway.
A bit skinny.
Chris McGraw says Newegg. Thank you very much. James says yes, but they also have a website. Well, that's interesting. So Rosewell, although being a Newegg kind of home brand, they are available as... Can you buy them elsewhere though, or is it just Newegg? Only the ordinary dude says it's only mostly dead. Yeah, if it was, it's kind of like... Actually, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to be crass. Coming from me, that's impressive. Yeah, that's a good plan. James Brock, you miserable bastard, says, I'm not asking for their background, just ask if anyone built in over those two cases. What?
And the 3 numbers on the back.
What I was trying to ascertain is if Rosewell cases are actually available as a separate purchase from anywhere other than Newegg, because otherwise it's basically you're targeting your question towards Newegg customers, because we can't get them over here in the UK. If any of our European brethren or sisters would like to comment on that, I'm pretty sure Rosewell in the last probably 4 or 5 years or so have purely been United States and via Newegg possibly. So not many of us would have had a chance to actually have a look. At least none of our kind of European and English and possibly Australian viewers. But others in the States might have. Aletta is probably a good person to ask. And I'm trying to think who else is from the States. Oh, Mike, Tristan. Ultimate Tech Hub. Tristan, of course, yeah. Rosewell. So James says you can buy them from their site as well. That's interesting. Well, maybe we'll see if we can get hold of a Rosewell case. I always like them because they always seem to be quite cheap and cheerful. James Brock says Amazon also sells them. Wonder if Amazon UK sells them. Knock them up, Kath.
What was it? Don't know what you were talking about.
Just go to amazon.co.uk and type in Rosewell. Not wheel as in bike, wheel as in where there's a...
All one word?
Yeah. Rosewell case you could try. What's that? A potato blender? A veg steamer?
Infrared halogen, stainless steel extender ring.
So Rosewell in the UK do kitchen appliances by the looks of it. Well, there is one case. What was that? Rosewell, enhance your gaming experience.
This is America.
Oh, I said UK.
I know, but I'll see what they do first.
Okay.
Oh.
Lord Erector says virtual machines are the future of software. I agree, actually. I would love to be able to take my default installation that's on my video editing PC and just use my Windows login on any computer in the world and all my software settings and programs be there. That is what we were promised back in the days of roaming profiles. So far, we're about as close to that as we are of getting to Mars.
No cases.
Right, Rosewell are not available from amazon.co.uk, sadly. Hey Maisie, what are you doing? Maisie likes sweet corn. No, not sweet corn, the other one. Does actually like sweet corn. What's the other one? Pineapple.
Pineapple.
She likes pineapple. We had pizza
Does
today.
like sweet corn.
It was good. We had pizza from Fat Pizza. And it was quite enjoyable. I'm not sure if it's up to the same quality as Rose Takeaway, but
and Pepe's
not bad.
was pretty good, we got told by George.
Pepe's was good. Yeah, he loved that, didn't he? Stuart Cleary says, Ugly Bob, is that an American expression? What did he say? Ugly Bob doesn't say things this time of night. He's normally pissed. Oh, smacks my head. SMH, smack my head.
shake my head.
David Underhill says, Leanne Lee cases for the win. Corsair is a close second. You would not believe, well, you probably would, you would not believe the amount of hate I've got on the last week's stream when I was talking about the 4000D. And kind of, I didn't slate it, but I did think that the 5000D offered more for the money and that it's possibly quite an overhyped case, which is always the way. Whenever there's a product which is super popular and it's by a relatively big name, it just gets hyped up because there's so many YouTube channels and partner programs that are supported by Corsair. So clearly you're going to see it in a positive light wherever you go. Oh God, porno sites. Ah, loads of them in the chat.
That's what happens if you keep going there and watching it.
Yeah, so...
Report.
So yeah,
Harassment or bullying.
it was sexual harassment. The... O'Reilly says I've refrained from mentioning Leanne Lee. Yeah, it's one of those things that I personally feel... The 4000D, when we first looked at it, when I got it for George, I reviewed it, and this was before the 4000D was available, and I think potentially before the Leanne Lee 215 and possibly the GameMax F15. I'm not entirely sure. But it was quite a bit cheaper as well then. So the 4000D, when I first reviewed it, there's quite a lot of things about it which I liked, and it was rather favourable. But times have moved on, and there are other cases which I feel still probably offer better value for money. It's part of the Corsair ecosystem, so it's going to be super popular. Corsair is so ridiculously popular everywhere that it's difficult for most other brands actually to even get a look in. If you go to, oh God, what is it? One of those kind of PC part picking sites, Corsair stuff is always at the top. And if you go to amazon.co.uk or amazon.com, go to components, look in cases, RAM, mice, or I was going to say coolers, yeah, probably, yeah, water coolers. Corsair stuff's going to be in the top 5, guaranteed, all the time. It's super popular because it's a nice ecosystem. But the 4000D, I personally, I feel it had, I don't want to sound harsh because it is a nice case still, and I've still got it, I haven't sent it back. But I still feel that there's things that they could have done better, and things that they've done which were done kind of pointlessly. But anyway. But that is always the problem with a channel like ours, because we're a smaller channel. Anything we say about any product which is of a kind of upper echelon product or Halo product or something that people see on a regular basis, you say anything negative about it and people get really upset. And it's like, well, I say negative things about pretty much everything I review or take a look at. It's in,
Hello.
Yeah, it's like, hello, have you not met me before? And I think that's a lot of the problem. Oh yeah,
Negative thoughts and
yeah.
speech
Like
about me.
some people come into the channel and I think they watch some of our videos for the first time on popular Halo products like the Leanne Lee 215 or the Corsair 4000D or
still the
Cooler Master Box Lite 3.1 or Master Box 5,
300 something on it.
the Q300L. They come to us because it's like a really super popular product and we've ranked quite high, and then they see me doing a review and I'm kind of slating things, and I don't think they're quite used to it because they've come from probably watching other videos where there's been either sponsors or people looking for sponsorship maybe, so they're being a little bit more kind of, they're looking more at the pros than the cons, and I think that's disingenuous. I think realistically you should be as critical as possible, because even if you're as critical as possible, you're still probably not going to find all the faults. There's probably going to be other faults that you're going to overlook. And most people like...
That is your opinion as well.
Yeah, my opinion as well is one of the things. Most of you know what I like and what I don't like, the sort of things I look for, like value for money or...
All the same.
Yeah, everyone's different. But yeah, I think a lot of people dislike our reviews because they've come in for the first time and it's a little bit of a shock to the system. Someone being as negative as I can be sometimes, or...
Truthful.
Yeah, honest. It's just like my findings. I look for the worst in things. That is inherently my job. That is what I have to do. purely for myself as well. I don't do it to suit everybody else. I don't give a whatever. If you think differently, that's fine. But for me, I'm spending my own money on stuff. And even if I'm not, if I'm being sent something, I'll still be critical because someone somewhere is going out doing a paper round at some stupid time in the morning to save up a few quid every week to buy some expensive product, and then they're going to be pissed when they get it. Or they're not going to know the difference between a good product and a bad product. So that's what we do. Sorry, I will get off my horse now.
What Bill said, it was the 4000X you originally reviewed.
That's right, yeah, the 4000X was the one I originally reviewed. That's what George got. The 4000X and the 4000D, other than very minute details in terms of the front panel and the fans that are included, is kind of effectively the same thing. There's not really a great deal. Although George's case is white, mine was black. But yeah, it's kind of the same sort of thing.
And George is happy with it.
Yeah, George loves it. He's happy as a pig in shit. I asked him if he wants to change it. Like, whenever I get a new case, I'm like, oh, do you want a case? He's like, no, I'm all right. It's like, oh, I've got this. No, it's fine. So he's happy with it, so let him be. I think a lot of people will be completely happy with that case. But if you don't know what else is available on the market, or you've not used other cases, then you might be like, well, all the other YouTubers say this is a bloody great case, I should get one.
You wet, Wopsy.
James Brock says, I do like some Thermaltake cases. I like some of them. Personally, now I'm going to say this, I have a good relationship with Thermaltake UK. A very good relationship, in fact. But I will say that Thermaltake sometimes must be smoking some serious crack, because some of the stuff they release is absolute dog shit. It really is. But then on the flip side, some of it is like absolutely genius. So it's kind of works both ways. Thermaltake are a weird company. They really are. They kind of go really far out on a limb with some bizarre case design, and then they take someone else's design and refine it for themselves. And it's like, it's cool that you're doing such kind of weird different ends of the spectrum for your cases, like the was it the View 20? That was like insane, weird, like blocky case everywhere. But then you get something like the some of the 300 series cases, which are kind of very similar to everything else on the market. It's a very strange thing they do. But I'm quite happy to say it, and to be honest with you, they don't mind me saying it either. Maybe because we don't have enough reach at the moment, but yeah, I say it as it is. If a case I think is over-engineered or do stuff which is pointless, I'll quite happily say it. Anyway, moving on. James Brock says, sweet baby G-Bus. Talk about a soapbox. I do get on a soapbox every now and then. Most of the days in here. If you were flies on the wall in here, poor old calf, I suppose she hadn't chopped her ears off. She tried chopping her finger off today.
I didn't try chopping it off. Flame chopped it off almost.
Mark Point says, is there such a thing as 16K resolution for a monitor? There probably is, but it wouldn't be a mainstream thing, that's for sure. And you probably wouldn't find a graphics card or a cable that would support it directly. James Brock says, at James Willis here, sometimes like someone else we know. I know, I do get a bit of the Kerry about me every now and then. Can't help myself. Hey Paul Bakewell, how you doing? And James Miscellaneous as well. James Miscellaneous says, love it when he goes off on a tangent. It's his most powerful form. Oh dear. I don't try and do anything, this is me. It is genuinely me. This is, Kath will verify. Like, I tried being other people all my life and it doesn't work. I've emulated other people. I've tried to be something that I'm not.
Faith Me Senders.
Faith Me Senders for one, yeah. George Michael at some points as well. But no, this is me.
Name it.
This is me. It'd be almost impossible for me to keep this up for
Not
this
for
long.
Me. None of it's for me.
That's right.
Don't ever put the ears on for me. Dak Hanabar bought some CD keys.
And then got a message retracted.
No, that was before he put that.
Oh, right. I didn't see that. Where was that?
Up a bit higher.
I can't see. Oh, yeah. Dak Havenar. How are you doing, Mike? I'm doing all right. I'm actually loosening up a bit with the old Amber Nectar. I have checked the website you have on your videos about discounts and bought 2 Windows 10 Pro with your discount. Awesome, thank you very much. I will say, we have got to... Have you still got that screen up on there, Kath, for the premium CD keys?
What do you mean?
Do you want to see how many keys we've sold?
Oh, sorry, Flimmer.
You would not believe... Well, you probably would believe. How many keys...
Poppy, stop it.
Poppy, stop scratching
This
the
is not
leather.
a scratching place. This is my chair. You silly.
If I get that new key for that new chair from Booley's and she starts scratching like that, I will tear her legs off.
You will not.
I won't.
Next. There.
What's that, 6?
Which one? 6,330.
Oh, I didn't want you to say it out loud.
Oh.
I wanted the ladies and gentlemen to guess. If you didn't hear how much Kath said that was, could you guess how many premium CD keys we've actually sold since we've been working with them?
You said, what does that say? So I thought you.
I know. I thought you could have done like Bob Carroll G's or whatever his name is. Not Bob Carroll G's. What's the other one?
What was that one?
Ted Rogers.
What was that other one? On a dinner time with Eunice Stubbs and Lionel Blair.
Give us a clue.
Yeah.
Give us a clue.
Play that.
That was good. James Vilnius, I look for the worst things. I look for the worst in things, Mike 2022. That could be on a t-shirt. That could be on a t-shirt. Yeah, we have, well, Paul Baycroft says 6,330. Oh, that is a really good guess.
Go on, bye.
Yeah, we've actually sold, well, there's been 6,330 sales via our referral code to premiumcdkeys.com. And I made a video actually this week saying I get pissed off that there's so many people on YouTube and wherever you go popping up on Google and stuff. CD keys, you ever try to get hold of a CD key? They're always super expensive. Now retail ones, you don't want to touch them because they're very expensive. I get pissed off with the other YouTubers. I'm not going to mention any names. Greg Salazar. I'm not going to mention any names at all. Right, Echo 9. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to do it. But there are other YouTubers who keep on spouting these CD keys. And they're like, only $40, but type in my discount code and you'll get 40% off. It's like, but they're already ridiculously overpriced. What is wrong with you? And I've told most of you this before, I'll tell you all again. What is the company? Media AMZ or something like that is basically the company that owns pretty much every other CD key site on the internet. Like all the main ones that you see the YouTubers doing. All of them are owned by the same parent company. So no matter which one you go to, it's the same company making the same money. If you look at the websites, they look identical. They've reached out to me almost every single day for years. And they keep on saying, would you like to do some videos for us? And a couple of times I've replied and said, look, it's very kind of you to keep asking, but we work with premium CD keys. Their sales prices are considerably lower than what you're offering yours for. Thank you very much, but we're going to have to turn you down at this point. And they're like, well, we charge more so you can make more. It's like, yeah, that's great if I'm trying to make money. But I'm not. I'm just trying to give my viewers cheap CD keys. That's what it's all about. I don't want to make loads of money. It's pointless because people get pissed off with me trying to flog them expensive CD keys. So it's just, please just stop emailing me. And I keep on seeing it day after day after day. Various different YouTubers all doing these sites, various different websites. Even typing in cheapest CD keys and it comes up with these things for like $13, $14. Premium CD keys are less than £5.
Nearly £4 to be honest.
It's nearly £4. It's like €5 or $5.
£4.17 I think.
And the Office 2019 or Office 2022 is like 15 quid or 12 quid. It's ridiculously cheap and they work. I've had 2 complaints so far, both of which have been rectified very easily. And out of 6,000 sales, to have 2 sales go wrong, that's pretty bloody good numbers. Let's be fair. If I bought 6,000 things from Amazon from the same company, I'm pretty sure they'd have more than 2 errors. I'm damn sure that would happen. So they work very, very well. So please, please, please. I'm not saying it because I make a very, very small commission, and it's a tiny amount. So it is a small commission, honestly. I don't get it's like 50p if I'm lucky. So I'm not going to make any money out of this. Well, I'll make a little bit of money, but you're the ones who are going to be saving. And I'd rather you people save money. I use it all the time. I use it myself when I sell a PC. This PC here has CD keys on from Premium CD Keys. Why do I buy them from Premium CD Keys? Because they're the cheapest ones I can get and they work. So please, don't use these other sites which sell these bloody expensive keys, because essentially...
And if you're updating to 11 or putting 11 on, buy 10.
Yeah, if you're doing Windows 11, don't buy an 11 key. Buy a 10 key or a 7 key. They all work. Save your money. Spend it on something else that's important. But I hate seeing these other sites and other places offering 40% discount for stupidly overpriced keys. It's just insane. It really is. Like, I can buy from, is it CJS keys or something? Or CDS keys? I don't even know what the bloody hell they're called. I can buy 4 keys for the price of one of theirs. Like, I know they're making a lot of money on it. They don't have to, and they shouldn't be doing it. It's just unethical. Purely is unethical. So please don't use those expensive sites. It's upsetting. I will get off my high horse now. O'Reilly says, Mike is on full-on rant. This is more relaxing to listen to than rain on a metal roof. Never change my... Oh dear. Lucky Man says, that's the point. You don't want to rip us off. Send that £10 PayPal calf. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Any extra, please do. Stuart Cleary says, I like Salazar for calling out Jay's 2 shills. I'm making it my business recently to, if there's YouTubers I feel who are being disingenuous, I am leaving my comment in their comment section. I'm never going to be on their level, and to be honest with you, I probably don't want to be, because I've seen what it does to some of them. But yeah, I'm actually, no, I'm not going to sit here and slag off YouTubers, because that's just like shooting bloody fish in a barrel. It's not fair, is it? Although if they would like to come on board and have a one-to-one and discuss things, I would love it. That would be excellent. Letter says, I agree, Mike has a great voice. This Bristolian... Need more beer. Glenn says, Greg Salazar's content is ideal now. He was a bit out of his depth initially, but he's nailed it now. Puts himself out there, mistakes and all. I enjoy his videos these days. I gotta be honest with you, I do like Greg Salazar's content, and I do watch it. He is in my subscription feed, I think. Yes, he is. He must be. And yeah, I do enjoy Greg's content. I would say, I don't know. The thing that I find, for me personally, lets Greg down is those CD keys he starts selling. Because he must know there's cheaper keys out there. He must do. He's an intelligent guy. And most of the people you watch on YouTube, they're intelligent people. They're not stupid. And clearly, especially the ones that are doing like best budget PC or build your PC for less, they must know that Windows keys and software keys are available cheaper. And the fact that they must know that, because that is what they do for a living, that's what pisses me off. The fact that they're quite happily saying, please work with this company because they've sponsored me, or I'm getting a feedback from this, or I'm getting a kickback from this. Yes, you could probably, if they turn around and said, these aren't the cheapest out there. These keys are relatively expensive, but by buying from this company, you're directly helping support the channel, then I would be fine. I'd be like, brilliant, well done. You've hit the nail on the head. You've come out fighting, you've said exactly what the crack is, you've said they're not the cheapest, you said they're not the best, you're making money from it, it's helping support you, fair play. I have no issues with that whatsoever. But when they turn and say, get your CD keys here because they're great value for money, it's like, well, they're not, clearly, and you know that. You must know that. And the fact that you're in front of a camera, lying or being ill-advised to your viewers is just shocking. It's shocking, it really is. I can't... I'm trying to think of another way of putting it so that you can put it into perspective that in the real world. It's like you going to a bank and saying to the bank manager, Mr. Bank Manager, please can you sign me up for the best value savings account that I can have so I get the best return on my income? And they turn around and sell you an account which is shit and costs you more and you lose money. If that happened in real life, you would be able to go to the bank ombudsman and say, I've been missold this, I want to make a complaint. And you'd probably get some money back. Why do they not do the same for YouTube people? Misadvising. They do everything else. You're not allowed to say stuff about medical stuff or health because it's bad. But you can advise people to buy shit all day long. What's all that about? Don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get off my high horse now. I can feel blood pressure rising. It really does anger me that people do it. And they know they've got a captive audience.
What's that?
Sorry. Let's have a look. Letter says, I repair PCs in my local area for the price of the parts. Awesome. David Andrew says, receive 7.5% of every sale. Oh, yeah, you receive 7.5%. Yeah, the Mike's unboxing code. There's two codes. There's Mike's unboxing
And Mub in it.
and Mub. And I think Mub 5 gives you 5%. If you type in Mike's unboxing, I think it gives you 7.5. But because it's like $4 anyway, it's kind of 2.5% on $4 is not really the end of the world, is it?
MU5 it is.
Was it MU5?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, MU5, and what's the other code? Mike's unboxing.
Mike's unboxing.
I think there's two. I think we can increase the discount. I might even do
Your
that.
main discount code, Mike's unboxing, and then
Yeah.
you've got Mike's unboxing 5.
Right, so the main code is Mike's unboxing. That gives you,
That's
I'm sure that gives you
That's in
7.5%.
the video description.
Yeah.
That's 7.5.
Anyway, okay. Clear. James Miscellaneous, Windows 12 on the way. See no reason for me to get 11 on a box unless it's just practice for work. Windows 12, I would imagine, is going to be... It's going to be 2024. Early 2024, I think.
And the way this year's going, that'd be tomorrow.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be the next day. Z8 user. Z80 user. Why? I can see it on there. Z80 user. ZX81 user. I switched back to Windows Server 2008 R2 from Windows 10 Pro and new computer to Linux. Excellent. The Freedom House 1984, is there a link on your community tab for these keys? I don't think there is on the community tab, but it's, I'd imagine someone's put a thing in there. Basically it's premiumcdkeys.com/Mike's Unboxing, or just premiumcdkeys.com, and use discount code Mike's Unboxing.
You got Psycho, is it? Maybe?
Alright, I'll have that. Hang on. James Miscellaneous says, Mike's a crook. His wife tried to send me free stuff, but I ambushed her back and bought stuff before she could. I won that battle. I think we won that battle, but yes. We both get something out of it, so that was good. Kenny D says, that Jay's 2 cents video about buying GPUs now was something else. That was, yeah. I genuinely worry about Jay's 2 cents. I feel he's kind of only a couple of videos away from losing the plot. I do feel sorry for him because it must be a lot of pressure because he's got a massive community following, and looking at his kind of Twitter and social feeds, he clearly gets quite fiery and quite defensive. So yeah, no, but he gets fiery and defensive in such a way that it's kind of not condescending, I suppose. It's more arrogant, I suppose. Which is like, if people are trying to tell you something and you're like, no, I know best, it's kind of like, you don't really. Anyway. I do watch Jay's 2 cents on a daily basis whenever it comes out, because I genuinely find it entertaining. I get annoyed by it, but I still watch it regardless. More because it's probably going to be a talking point rather than anything else. Ugly Bob says, I totally enjoy Paul's hardware. He's full of integrity. Paul's hardware, I would agree. I don't think anyone could realistically say that Paul's hardware is... yeah, I don't think you've got any real complaints there. Clearly he has got some sponsorship deals and ties, which does kind of overspill a little bit, but not to the point that you'd be like, oh, he's shilling. So it's very much that if he is full of praise, he does it in such a way that it isn't offensive, which is good. The Trojans is my great bloke, terrible businessman. That is true. I am a terrible businessman. I am genuinely a terrible businessman.
But we're not very materialistic, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really care about money and all that stuff. I do, obviously, because you've got to pay bills, but...
as long as we can cover them.
I'd rather be happy and do things morally and not have to worry about it than kind of be always thinking about making the next dollar. It's a pretty horrible way to live, isn't it? Chris Hartford says CD keys equals keys to a Ferrari. I think with the money that we've made from premium CD keys, we'd probably have the keys to maybe a Fiat. That'd be Angle.
Is it Angel?
Don't know.
Says she didn't come in. Come on, mates.
It's probably someone complaining. That was a doorbell, by the way, in case you haven't heard it before. It's our daughter come home.
What's wrong? Why? Can you record yourself saying that?
David Underhill says the company Greg S recommends has cheaper CD key prices if you don't use his affiliate codes. That's pretty awesome. Mark Point says he sold his Ferrari and replaced it with a Merc GTS. He has an R as well. Irie Wolfman says Kyle, on the other hand, has lost it. Yeah, Kyle's marriage breakup, I think that has really, really hit him a lot harder than he cares to admit. It is one of those things that if you do, or you're in a position where you're in a breakup, and it's quite a public one, yeah, it's a tough one, and I think he's still reading from it. Kyle takes me to be one of those people that is probably super confident, but deep down they're absolutely terrified and like literally on a knife edge all the time. And I think his relationship breaking down probably was the thing that pushed him over the edge. He was quite close to it a lot of the time, I feel personally, and I think he's dealt with it quite well. He's yeah, he's been quite good about it. He's not come out and said anything. He's been very, restrained. He hasn't harped on about stuff. He's done okay. I think it's going to take him a while to get over it and get back into his kind of his groove, so to speak. But yeah, his Kyle's content is really very much, I don't know, I think it's more aimed at younger people, younger viewers. Whereas previously with him and Paul, because they both did the awesome hardware, Paul's content has always been aimed at the more, I don't want to say intellectual because that's wrong, but Paul's always aimed his kind of stuff at the kind of the real person, the everyman, or the kind of the more experienced technical person, I guess. Whereas Kyle's been aiming at the kind of like the lower end, but with the high end equipment. So it's like, look at what I've got. This is all great and shiny. Whereas Paul's been like, this is the real world, but this is what you could do. And it's interesting to see that Kyle's numbers were much, much higher than Paul's to begin with. Whereas now they seem to be leveling up. And I feel that it won't be that long until Paul overtakes Kyle, to be honest with you. Unless Kyle does something different, very different. Seems to be very, I don't know, very inconsistent, I suppose. Used to be like kind of 2 or 3 videos a week every week, whereas now it's kind of 1 a week if you're lucky. So at least Paul's got his regular slots as well, which he feels, which is always a good thing. Moving on. Atlanta says what we were all thinking. I knew Kyle and Wifey Sauce would break up. She was such a self-centered bee. The thing is, that's why they got on so well, I think, to begin with, because they are both very much wanting to be the centre of attention. But I think if you're in a relationship like that, where you both want to be the centre of attention all the time, one of you's clearly going to not be the centre of attention all the time. Or there'll be someone else's centre of attention, if you get what I mean. So, yes. Anyway, moving on. James Brock says, yeah, not watched Nitwit in a long time. The thing is, even if you are subscribed to a Bitwit, you probably won't see a video anyway. Because there's not a lot of content. I just saw something about there. Glenn says 6,330 times £4.50. That's 28,485. That's a 57 plate Aston Martin. If only.
We got all the money.
Yeah, if we had all the money, that would be great. We'd get a very small fraction, sadly. Although saying that, I don't think I'd want a 57 plate Aston Martin. I'd probably prefer an
MOT on the one we've got.
A 97 plate 3 Series 320 or a 328 Cabriolet. That'd be nice.
No, they've all got boots. I can only have estates.
Oh, Angel's being sick.
Do you know what she said when she came home?
What?
I feel really ill. I'm never going out again. Can you record yourself saying that? She actually even gone anywhere.
Molsha Zilberman, sorry, I've pronounced that terribly. Thanks for the cheap keys. I've used them for a few times. Happy to help. It's a win-win situation because we make a few quid on it eventually after a few sales, and you lot get cheap keys and I get cheap keys out of it, to be honest with you, because I buy keys from them all the time. I would never knowingly buy a key from somewhere else. Although saying that, I have actually bought a Office 365 subscription for Office rather than buying individual Office licenses. Purely for the reason that they didn't have any in stock at the time when I needed them, and also I've got Caf's PC, my video editing PC, I've got my streaming PC, I've got my laptop. I've also got living room PC, got George's computer, and that is quite a lot of licenses. So our Office 365, which we can claim back against business taxes, is kind of like, that's a better way of doing it than just chucking out 15 quid every time I want to reinstall my PC. Anyway. Mark Point says, yeah, all I can say is poor Kyle. Yeah, I agree. It's, I feel sorry for him. It's one of these things. He's probably learning that his ego has to be reined in a little bit. As funny and as entertaining as it is, living with that 24/7 is going to be hard. And maintaining it is going to be hard. So you have to find your level. Otherwise, you're just, yeah, it's going to end up being a world of hurt. Kenny D says, I'm guessing GPU prices have dropped, have slowed down a bit. They have, yeah, it's kind of, it dropped like crazy and it's flattened out a bit. So be interesting to see what happens next. Timmy Joe has his demons. Yeah, is Timmy Joe still doing stuff? I was subscribed to him, I think, but I've not seen any.
He said earlier.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, he had a new job, didn't he? Irie Wolfman sums it up quite nicely there. That Kyle is RGB, whereas Paul is practical. Very much so. Aletta says, I only follow Milk. I'm guessing that's me. Jay, Paul, and Hardware Unboxed. Thank you, Aletta.
You in the winter.
And there's another super chat from Stuart Cleary, another €10. Says, Mike, you're the man. I love your Saturday night streams. Oh, thank you. I enjoy you being a part of them. And same for all of you, actually. Better than me just sat here chanting myself. Or Kath going, oh, God. God.
Usually you just talking to yourself in your head, ignoring everything I say.
Yeah, it's true. I do. There's so much tiny stuff going on in my mind. Kath says stuff and I'm like, oh.
And then 10 minutes later,
then I say,
exactly
ask the same question. And it's like, I just told you that. It's like, I knew that. Ordinary Dude says, I bought a couple of keys, worked fine for me. Good to hear. James Brock says, Angel has fallen off the wagon. She's fallen off the bed as well.
She's never even got on the wagon.
Into a pile of clothes and puke.
Yeah, all that washing I done today, she just chucked that on the floor. I might just chuck it straight back on her floor before doing it next time.
Danielle says, I sometimes wonder if other people are paying substantially less than I for internet. A middle-of-the-road PC often seems comparatively low in cost. It seems silly to go with a cheap PC build. Okay. Well, Bill says a 57 Aston Martin is worth more like 22 million. That'd be nice. Roasted red pepper hummus for Aletta. Sounds good. Lord of Rectus says, what does Mike use to make his head so shiny? Lights.
A litre of coffee.
And a litre of coffee. It's mostly just hot. It's quite humid. Although saying that, I'm the same in the winter. David Until says, probably use floor wax to shine the head. I don't use any waxes. It's just natural thing. Freedom House got a 6600 for 5,000. No, I think no. Face creams. Who wants using face creams? Lord Director says, I bet it's all that flashing and turtle wax. I do actually work part-time in a car shop, selling car accessories and polishes and detailing equipment. So I could quite easily get out get out a dual action polisher and a little bit of possibly, what could we use? Meguiar's showroom polish. Do the old head. But no, it doesn't require it. It is just the lighting. If I move the lights down, more forward on, things are much better, but Kath's desk is too low.
I've done it wrong now. Sorry, Flame.
Oh, sure is what time it was. Mark Point says, paying about $90 a month for internet. We get absolutely shafted in the UK for internet prices, we really do. It's Bucket who says, response to my message ages ago, I finally got my Ryzen 5 working. Unsure what I did, but it works. Sometimes, if you flash a BIOS or change a processor, literally just turning it off and turn it back on again can do the trick. It's bizarre and it's amazing how it does it, but it certainly seems to. Happens quite a lot. On the Discord we see it quite a few times. Lord of Rectus says he's a detailer. I sell detailing equipment. I have done detailing, but I am not currently a detailer. I actually used to like doing it. I really used to like doing it.
But it wasn't called detailing then, it was called washing your car.
Yeah, back when I used to, it used to be called washing a car. Now it's called detailing because it's cool. It's like when it goes from being a programmer to a coder. And other things like that. Freedom House says, race glaze it. Mike uses Alto Sol. If I was going to use anything, I would probably use Showroom Shine. I like Showroom Shine, it's good stuff. Yeah, our internet is quite expensive. Lord of Rectus says, I thought you worked in computers. No, this is my job is here. This is my job. But I worked previously for the BBC, and after finishing the BBC, BBC, after finishing there and then doing the full-time YouTube thing, there was a local shop that I worked when I was 16 years old, and they were looking for part-time staff. And CAF wasn't very well at the time. Oh, full-time staff, sorry. And CAF wasn't very well at the time, so I thought, well, if I go and work in a shop for a bit, that'll help take the burden off CAF so she can concentrate on getting better. And I'll go and work in a shop. Work on minimum wage for a while. That's fine, whatever, I'll do it. And I actually quite enjoy it. It's alright. It's nice to get out and about and see people. And actually, I spend most of the time telling customers to sign up to my YouTube channel. It's possibly cheating a little bit. It's like, can you fit this set of wiper blades for me? I can, but just click on this subscribe button and I'll be out with you shortly. Works like a dream. A detailer, e-tailer and a retailer walked into a bar. Dad joke, no punchline. Thank you for that. Stuart Cleary says, did you ever clay bar a car and ceramic coat? I've never ceramic coated. I don't believe in it. I think ceramic coatings is a little bit of a gimmick. And actually a ceramic coating doesn't look as nice as a decent wax. But I have clay barred a car numerous times. And some actually very good results on my old BMW. Actually got to the point where that BMW was so shiny it was ridiculous. And it got to the point actually where the sun would reflect so much of the car, I would get blinded in the car. It was that bad. It was super reflective at one point. While Bill says, I worked at Halfords for about a year on the spares counter. Awesome. I love working in the parts section or selling car parts. Especially now, it's such hard work.
So does Wild Bill know the spark plugs for a Cortina code?
Yeah.
Part number.
I can still recall a lot of the part numbers for some of the really old stuff. I'm trying to think of some now. There was spark plugs for a Ford Pinto engine. I think NGK is BPR6ES. I'm trying to think of anything else of interest. There probably isn't anything. David Andrew says, I used to work in computers, then did websites and teaching, now semi-retired Baptist pastor and local JP to do drone videos. Awesome stuff. Lord Rector says, I see the BBC. Oh dear.
But you're lucky you see the happy mic.
There's so many things that the BBC stands for. None of them being particularly things I'd want to have in my life. Ordinary Dude says, my dad had a garage for decades, so I grew up working for him until I went away in the military. I do enjoy working on cars to some extent. Not a great deal. Some things are really frustrating. Matthew Smith says, are you doing a follow-up with that Red Dragon Fizz keyboard? I've got nothing planned at the moment. What particularly would you like to know about it?
Is that the one you... No, that's the Have It ones, isn't it?
Yeah. The Red Dragon Fizz is currently just there. I was waiting for something to spur me. So if you've got any idea, let me know.
What's that?
What? It's an angel being sick.
No, it's like do-do. It's like an old-fashioned
I don't
thing.
know. Chris Arthur says, have you been following the My Mate Vince Rolls Royce series? I haven't, no. I haven't watched My Mate Vince for a long, long time. A long, long time, in fact. William Bodie says, did you look up on Amazon for UK keycaps? Yes, I did, but I think because of the layout of the enter key, the UK keycaps won't directly fit onto the US keyboard. There is something to do with like the spacer, and also the shift key is in a slightly different place, so it doesn't quite work. I'm pretty sure you can get a UK version of it, but yeah, we just it wasn't available at the time, sadly. Matthew Smith says, modding on the cheap could be fun, swapping out switches and whatnot. There were some decent deals on Prime Day for nerdy keyboard stuff. I didn't really look for any of that, to be honest with you. Prime Day was one of those things where it came along and it's like, you're looking for specific things like processors, motherboards, RAM, storage, GPUs obviously you're not going to get, but those were the kind of 4 things that I was keeping an eye out for. Things like keyboards and power supplies, there was a lot of deals apparently, which we kind of missed out on a little bit, to be honest. Right.
You did buy a power supply though, didn't you?
We did actually buy a power supply, it is here.
Alongside this thumb screws.
Don't lose the thumb screws.
Oh,
No, don't get it attached to your collar, you little ginger swine.
Bit scared to
Yes.
question now.
The EVGA 600 watts of pure 80 plus white power. What a great power supply. This was 20 quid. I felt very confident with my £20 that this purchase was going to go wherever well, maybe. Well, it didn't blow up. I did put the power supply tester on it and it didn't set on fire, didn't blow up, and didn't cause my surge protector to start screaming. So yeah, I like that. And it was hashtag blame Dave. Dave Aitken was the problem, so we had to borrow it. James Brock's comment has been hidden. I don't know what I can say about that really. I don't think there's anything I can currently say about it. I'm trying to think of something I can say about it. I think that they should all suffer, to be honest with you. They're all as bad as each other. But still. Stuart says, my mate Vince is renovating a Rolls Royce Silver Shadow, but is getting boring. Yeah, those kind of renovation videos are one of those things that, unless there's something really interesting going on, if it gets stretched over loads and loads of episodes, it gets really like, oh, come on. I think that's why they dialed it in with some of those house things, like not changing rooms. What's the other one? Grand Designs. Like Grand Designs, they took like a couple of years to film each episode, but
even then they don't even have them finished
yeah,
half the time.
But then like you get to see the whole episode in the best part of like 42 minutes. If you take into account breaks as well, taking that to the hour.
And then you take out him recapping
Yeah.
the previous like before the break bit, you could get it into about a quarter of an hour.
So like an entire house renovation, rebuild, design, all the problems and stuff, all crammed into an hour. If you're doing a YouTube video on the restoration of a car, like if you don't do the entire thing within an hour, people are probably going to start getting bored, because people are like that. Like our content is super long form. I go over things in sometimes ridiculously stupid detail and off on weird tangents. It seems to work, so I'm not going to argue with it, but generally most people's attention span is like 3 to 5 minutes. If you haven't done and dusted within 3 to 5 minutes, then yeah, it's pointless. Chris Whitford says, I got one of those 20 quid EVJ, seems okay. Yeah, I was almost considering it, thinking that it might end up having to go in here. Well, that's a bit loose. Where's that loose? Oh well, that'll need adjusting before it goes back. Lord of Rexus used to have a rare sports car. I've always appreciated some of like Exotica, but I've never wanted to own one at all. Glenn says, yeah, Property Ladder with Sarah Beanie. That was good as well. Yeah, I quite like that. That was good. We stopped watching TV around about that sort of time, I think. I don't think it was Sarah Beanie's fault per se, but she probably had something to do with it. John says, hi bud, would you update the BIOS on Asus X570 Tough Plus if everything was working okay? I have done, but then I'm in a rather fortunate position that I've got a couple of PCs, so that if one goes completely badly wrong, I can use another one. If it is your sole PC, I would remain cautious. If there's nothing wrong with your PC, and you're updating the BIOS just for the sake of updating your BIOS, it's kind of you're flipping the coin, aren't you? It could work out absolutely fine. It could work out in absolute horror. So, yeah, be cautious but optimistic. Coming from the person who looks out for the worst in things. John says, I have an old Escort Cosworth. I would never let it go.
You didn't say old.
Sorry, I have an Escort Cosworth. Yes. Sorry, which Escort Cosworth is it? Is it the original RS Cosworth? Or is it the newer RS 2000 shape? I'm intrigued.
So what's the first one? Mark III. Escort's shape.
Yeah. Lord of Rexus had a Bowell Mark 7. I've never heard of that. That is rare. You crazy kids in your cars. Mark Barry says something which I agree with entirely. I prefer older cars, easy to fix and not too much electronics. Electronics are the downfall of every modern vehicle. I would ideally love to have a old kind of 1998 Jeep Grand Cherokee. That would suit me down to the ground. Rocket bomb-proof engine, very simple electronics, nice ride. 4x4, get you around anywhere. Happy days.
It's a Mark 5.
John said Mark 5. So yeah, the RS 2000 shape then, I guess. Well, the modern RS 2000 shape. Very nice. Aletta says, I miss the days when you needed a timing light and a dwell meter. Yes, those days are long gone. And vacuum gauges. Glenn says, I'm a mechanic by day, can't even replace rear pads on cars these days without plugging the computer into the car. I think what a lot of people don't realise as well, you can't actually change the battery on a car without plugging in a computer these days. With a lot of these stop-start cars, the battery actually has to be programmed into the car, which is insane if you think about it. It's a battery. Why on earth would you need to program it into a car? But you do, because of the charging rates and all that kind of stuff. The AGM and glass fibre batteries do require it. So yeah, it is a very...
You could speak to Glenn about Carmen's car.
Yeah, could do actually. Yeah, imagine that if you had to replace the battery on your motherboard and had to reprogram the BIOS. That's what cars are like. And Glenn says, yeah, and stop-start batteries are double the price, if not more. Yeah. Whenever anyone comes into the shop and asks me for a battery for a car, first thing I do is take the registration, then it comes up with the option of stop-start or normal. And I say to them, does your vehicle have stop-start? And they're like, what's that? So, well, when you put up to a set of traffic lights, has the vehicle ever just turned itself off, waiting for you to go on again to save power? They're like, oh, no, mine doesn't do that. It's like, that is the right answer. You have just saved yourself £100, at least. It's just insane. The technology into cars these days, if for some reason computers one day decide to not work again, there's going to be a lot of cars that will never work again, which is terrifying if you think about it. Renee says, hello Mike, one of the best, good, all good, one of the best channels, Info PC, thanks man, no problem. The Trojan says, I have a Ford Focus ST, but I drive like a grandpa, so it's a bit of a waste. Best way.
Got the car, got nothing to prove.
Yeah. A friend of ours bought a Lotus Elise, and at the time we were only about 18 to 20, something along that. We were quite young, and he would drive it literally at the speed limit, so 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, and very slow around corners.
No, he'd go round corners right on the wrong side of the road to save his tyres.
He didn't want to cut corners because it would reduce wear on the tyres. Wow.
And he was like just getting beeped at all the time, but he had the car, he had nothing to prove.
Awesome stuff. Skynet is in effect. And talking of Skynet, I should call this a day because we've gone on and on. It's almost 3 hours. Well, it's 3 hours now. So thank you all so much for joining us tonight. And yeah, hopefully you've had a relaxing evening watching me. I'm actually feeling better about this PC now. It's actually working. Doesn't seem to be doing anything odd. It's a shame that we lost the data that was on there, but I guess for some of it it's just game data and modifications to Assetto Corsa and all that kind of stuff. So yes, it's not the end of the world, but yeah, it could have turned out better. But hopefully you've had an enjoyable Saturday evening. I've had a great time. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much for the super chats and all of your continued support. If I could ask you one more thing before you leave, and that is to either smash the like button or share our videos. Sharing does more than you'd ever know. People sharing a video, YouTube suddenly thinks that if you share a video, that you like it so much that you share it, that it's actually good content. Even if it isn't, share it anyway. And if not, just smash the like button, it is appreciated. As is your continued support of the channel. So I think that's going to wrap things up. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. And we'll catch you in the very next video.
Bye from Flame.
Bye from Flame. Thanks a lot. See you all later. Have a lovely weekend, what's left of it, and we'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.